Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
Let's get fucking serious, guys. Let's get really serious, okay?
On our serious podcast, yes.
Welcome to Tunnel Talk.
Wow.
I couldn't remember what to do after that.
We skipped 1 week and you forgot the whole thing. This is all staying in.
Literally, okay, what do I usually say? Well, welcome to Tunnel Talk.
Hey, new listeners who might have heard of our podcast this weekend, we're actually Tunnel Talk.
Welcome to Tunnel Talk. Welcome to Tunnel Talk. Welcome to Tunnel Talk, a no facts, all feeling wrestling podcast on the Social Suplex Network. I'm Allie.
I'm Ann.
And I'm Leah.
And thank God you hit it, because I don't think I can go into the podcast if we don't get a nice, juicy welcome to Tunnel Talk.
Yeah.
I swear
Welcome
to God,
Tunnel Talk.
so many of the words had disappeared in my mind, so I was just sitting there. Welcome to Tunnel Talk. I'm Allie. Welcome to Tunnel Talk. I'm Allie. I'm your host, Allie. I'm trying to do the hidden brain over here. Sorry, girls.
We went to Texas and our brains got wiped.
And that's just par for the course, am I right?
Yeah.
How are you girls doing? Now that we're back,
Yep.
we had a wonderful all-in weekend.
Yep.
Is everyone feeling hale, hearty?
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
No.
I feel terrible.
Hey,
I
Ann,
turned
where
right
were you
around
hanging out all day today?
I got to go on a work trip to Moorhead, Kentucky all week, right as soon as we got back. And
specifically
I'm not
to...
thriving. Oh, a high school
high
in
school.
Moorhead, Kentucky. Yeah,
She's
that's
been
where
hanging
they
out in the
set
high school
us
building
up.
all day.
Yeah, so I've been sitting. Did you know that high schoolers, they don't give them nice chairs to sit in?
I'm vaguely
tell you that
recalling
much.
that.
Yeah. So I'm worried because I really had an amazing weekend. Like, could not have been more fun. But I'm concerned that my energy might not be quite as high as it should be. But just so to hit it off up front, it's the fault of a high school in Moorhead, Kentucky, not the fault of All In.
Not the fault of All In, not your fault, Ann, not the fault of any of these Tunnel Talk girls.
No.
What if we pulled a paid podcaster thing and it's like, here's the 47 things that we thought were wrong with All In. And then at the very end of the show, we go, but it was a great show.
It was a great show. If you're into that sort of thing.
If you like wrestling or whatever.
I'm glad we're not paid. I'll say that. I'm glad that we don't get paid.
No one can complain about anything we do.
When people hear the length of the story that we're about to tell later that has nothing to do with wrestling, yeah, we can do it because when you people don't pay us for this, so we can do that.
Use that little skip forward 30 seconds button.
Yeah, it's all in your control. You can always say no.
Do you think this is a good opening?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I think getting real confrontational and saying that it's going to be bad off the bat. So if you heard about Tunnel Talk this past weekend,
podcast, we're about to give a totally crazy review, and if you don't like it, you can go fuck yourself.
Go find yourself.
Guys, we loved All In.
We
had a
loved
wonderful
All In.
time.
Yeah.
In fact, we loved it so much that it's supposed to be Ann's week to say what's making her happy, but she's not going to go till next week because actually the thing making all of us happy this week is that we went to All In and had a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy too because I never set out to find a wrestling community, a community
No.
of wrestling fans. And yet
No.
coming out of this weekend, I was like, wow, yet that is what we have. It's
Yes, that
crazy.
is what we have. I know
We
it
live
was
in we live in
so-
community. Yeah.
somehow it had not. I mean, I knew that we were going to see people, but I just hadn't really computed how many people. And I brought my my brother and his wife, my sister-in-law, to the show, and they don't watch wrestling. So for them, this was just like this was a new spectacle to behold. And I hadn't really realized, like, all day long, you know, we were just going to be meeting people, and I would be like, oh, these are my friends from my online wrestling community. It's like, oh, yeah, I know a lot of people in the online wrestling community.
I know. When we were sitting there before the show and people like just kept coming over to our seats, it was like, yeah, it must be weird for the people sitting around us to be like, why do these girls have like 100 people to talk to? But it was cool.
We always
very
think of
fun.
ourselves as like outlaws, like separate from the community, but we ain't.
We're
we in
not.
it.
We're right in it.
Desperado. We have come to our senses. What did you guys like? What were your highlights of All In Weekend aside from the show stuff?
I really think it might have been meeting all, I mean, you know, in person, meeting all of the Social Suplex guys. Like, I loved it so much. Obviously,
Yeah.
I've spent a non-insignificant amount of the last 15 years with Sarah, and I've, you know, spent time with Trish recently. I've obviously spent time with you guys. So it was like the Social Suplex guys were the new, you know, factor where I was like, what if they're completely different? You know, when you meet them
What
in
if they've
person.
been faking their podcast personalities?
What if they're mean to us? What if they're like,
Yeah.
what if they're so mean to us and really like bully us in person? That'll be awful.
What if they're not mean, but they just hate us, and it's clear they hate us, but they're being so polite, but they hate us? That would be rough.
That would be really
like that.
rough. That would be really rough. Instead, we had on the Friday night. So the three of us, and actually all of the girls flew in on Friday, and we went over the Airbnb of Rich, James, Jeremy, and Josh. And when we got in, only Jeremy was there, and we overloaded him with hugs. Obviously, he was like the best. Then Josh and Rich were out getting us food, and so they came in like conquering heroes. And then James came out later, and like we were just sitting around this Airbnb dining room, just talking about Randy Orton for a very long time.
Yeah, for a very long time.
And men were
we're
just
happy to
calling
say-
out. Men were just calling out years and being like, Googled this year of Randy Orton, and then you guys
Look at
would
2011 Randy Orton. and then we'd
we'd
look at him.
Google him, and then we'd say smash or not smash.
Pretty much, it was a long game of smash or pass, just with Randy, only with Randy Orton. And for the record, I think it was a strong smash for like 2003 Randy Orton.
Yeah.
When,
Those early 2000s.
Yeah,
It was still a good Randy Orton.
He looked good at that point, and
Yeah.
then not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah. So that's probably the biggest thing on the podcast, and you can go ahead and tune out now that you got the Randy report. It was so fun to meet those guys. They were all really, really lovely in person, and
just
very
like they are on their
very
podcast.
polite young men.
Exactly.
Very polite young men
very
across the
polite.
board.
James gives incredible hugs. If you have never hugged James ONR, he gives incredible.
Probably
He's going to
most of
be
you.
so happy to hear you say that
Listen.
to everyone.
If you have the opportunity to see James in real life,
Walk
just hug
up and hug
Walk
him.
up to him
Just
and hug
hug
him.
him.
You,
You
won't
won't
regret
regret
it
it.
at
Yeah.
all.
So
Perfect
threatening. If
hugger.
anyone ever said that about me.
James is going to be like, I'm going to have all these friggin' white women hugging me.
Oh my God.
No, that was so fun. And then after the show, we did like a listener meetup. Not super well organized, so we just had to tweet out our location. But people came in and hang out, and it was so much fun. People
That
were
was incredible.
So nice.
People were so nice to us. We met so many people. We met Dex from YouTube, which
Yes.
one of our.
Leah yelled.
I was at the end of like my filter. It was gone. And so I recognized his name from our YouTube comments and flipped a fucking lid.
She yelled, "You're like a celebrity to me." Which is right. I mean,
It was true. She was right to do it, but it was just like, wow. It's been a really long time.
And we met listener Grace, who made us friendship bracelets.
Oh my God, Grace.
Yes. So incredible.
What a dream
Yeah.
you are.
Yeah. And very hilariously turned to me and was like, we have a mutual in common. And I was like, what do you mean? And they were like, oh, I'm friends with your friend Ray, who is a real life friend that I, here in Boston. And I immediately like flipped out and was like, how do you know Ray? It was incredible. It was an incredible connection.
That's crazy.
We met them. We met Katie. We met Rambone Slampig, who tried to tell us his legal name, and we won't be onboarding that because Rambone Slampig is so much more fun.
I have kind of onboarded it. It's a real. Somehow they went together perfectly for me. It was like, that's right. I'm like not trying to I'm not sure if it's a secret, so I'm not trying to say it here. But like, I loved the combination of these names.
It's true. It was a good combo. Yeah.
We met Emily. We met Seth. We met Alice.
We met Chris.
Yes.
And our friend Emmy, too, was incredible. We had such a good time hanging out with her. She was at the Social Suplex hangout, too.
Yeah. I think Saturday when I was, like, completely, like, out of, like, any kind of filter, I just grabbed Emmy by the face and started complimenting her social skills, but with, like, my nose, like, 2 centimeters.
Did you tell her that she had a nurturing energy? Someone did.
Well, Sarah said it, and I told her that Sarah said it, but then
you're like,
it was
and I got way closer to her and said it again.
Like, nose to nose, being like, do you know that you're socially competent? Many people from the internet aren't. Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
Everyone we met, amazing. I think we met Mel, Detective.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We did
I don't know
meet
which
Mel
name to
Detective.
use.
Great.
Yeah.
And
I feel like we're gonna forget people too, but
I know
everybody was so great. Listener
we're
Chris.
definitely forgetting people. Everyone that we met was the loveliest person that I've
so
ever
lovely.
met.
So incredibly lovely.
You were all socially competent. You did a wonderful job.
Yes.
And I do just want to shout out, there was someone sitting in our section, and I don't know who you were, who said to me as I was going past at one point, I love Tunnel Talk. And I was in front of my sister-in-law, and that was a huge moment for me. I really came off as cool, I think. And so I was on the move. I was on the go. I said, thank you. I kept going. I don't know who you are, but thank you so much. That was just the perfect moment to say that to me. I said, wow, I am winning.
Man, to hear that in front of your sister-in-law, boy, life doesn't get any better than that.
Now, Allie, were you wearing something that might have tipped them off that you were from Tunnel Talk?
It was the horse costume, of course, yes. we got printed up, Leah and Ann and me. The Tunnel Talk girls, Leah, Ann, and Allie.
You know them.
Got printed up their hot and ready hot dog summer t-shirts.
Yes.
A special edition just for us. There will, I believe, be a version coming that you guys can get.
Yeah.
So this is a bit of a sneak preview for you. But yeah, ours are special staff editions that we had to get so we could wear them to All In.
We needed them fast, so we had to print them ourselves. And we put the word staff on the back. So the person sitting next to Allie did ask, like, are you guys working at the event?
She did. She was like, can I ask what you guys are staffing for? And it was like, you can ask. You can always ask. I don't really have an answer for you.
Well,
We just thought it was really, really funny.
We're kind of like the staff of like this gas station. There's only one of them. And
but it's pretty sought after.
It's a pretty sought after gas station. Don't worry about it.
So the gas station is called Hot and Ready. Actually, it's not a bad gas station name.
No,
that's a pump and munch, come and go. Hot and Ready. It could join the Grand Pantheon. You guys don't have Pump and Munch? We have Pump and Munch. Yeah,
wow.
It's crazy.
It's an incredible name.
Totally
Sounds like
crazy.
A name we would make up for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, what are we talking about? Oh, our shirts. We wore our beautiful shirts.
We wore our beautiful shirts.
You guys wore rainbows.
Our friend Nick pointed out, seeing the pictures, that our heights are a cell tower because we like really stagger up. Like Leah's short and I'm tall, and Allie's kind of in the middle, and the colors were red, yellow, and a teal. So it really was a cell tower signal.
That signal was getting stronger and stronger and stronger with every passing hour of the event. Now, before we get down to the full the storyline stuff, Any other general vibe thoughts or some reportage? Maybe you guys want to say how nice my brother and my sister-in-law were.
They were
so nice.
Very incredibly nice. There was someone in front of Anne who like Sarah at one point was like, he's excited. You can't be mad at him for being excited. I can be mad. If somebody stands up when they see a cool move, that's completely fine. But at a certain point, when the rest of the section sits down, you have to eventually sit down. And this person in front of Anne refused, like, would stand for so much longer than it made sense to. And he's tall, so nobody could see behind him. Allie's sister-in-law so kindly leaned in and was like, trade seats with me for the big matches. And so Anne got to trade seats, and it was like it was just one of those things where I was like, wow, so you're an angel.
I know. It was so
crazy.
Incredibly nice, and it really did make the last two matches better, because like the Swerve Ospreay Bucks tag, like I did miss significant parts of it because of that guy.
That's so
which
crazy.
Again, like I wasn't gonna yell at him for being happy, but it was a little bit much for the people behind him. So
you do just have to think about like how you're impacting others around you a little bit.
Right. Yeah, but your sister-in-law was so sweet for doing that. And then they were such good sports, too, because it was a very long show. I mean, it was long for us, but for normies, it was like, wow, we've really been here.
Yeah, Allie, how long did you tell them that you thought it might be a full day?
It had never occurred to me. It had never occurred to me. I think when we were walking out and it was fully 8 p.m. and we had been there for more than 8 hours, I was like, wow, really put in a full shift at the whole arena. Full shift at the wrestle show. It's like we're not trying to engender any discourse, join in any discourse. I can understand, why it's happening, basically. And I had a great time for a lot of it. And one of the problems is all the stuff that I would cut, you'll hear later that we actually got up to some pretty important stuff during those you need your breaks. But it was very funny. No, when I said come to this wrestling show, many, many months ago, I didn't say anything like, I think we'll be there for 8 hours. I don't think at the time it had even occurred to me maybe that it was an afternoon show. I thought it would be a civilized evening show. Yeah. And perhaps I just hadn't thought that through, but there were a few months. I think they had a great time. They got in the spirit of things. It's very fun to watch with people who haven't watched before and to remember, I mean, for us, our own experience of just being like, what the fuck is happening here? At some point fairly early on, Melissa turned to me and she was like, and the blood's not real. And I was like, and no one was bleeding, but I think just like looking for it, and maybe I'd said like the Texas Death Match, that'll be really gory or something. She was like, and the blood's not real. I said, oh, Melissa, the blood is real. And I got to see her eyes. I got to see her eyes do the thing. It's something that all of our eyes have done at one point. We're like, what do you mean? I was saying, sorry, you must have misunderstood. I was saying the blood isn't real.
Isn't real, yeah.
So we're like, it's very real.
Because wrestling's fake. We all know it's fake.
Yeah. So they really got in the spirit of things. I think they were understanding it pretty well. We did have a few funny moments. We were waiting in line to come into the show, and people kept starting chants. Everyone loves to chant. They started a Swerve's House chant. And as soon as it stopped, my brother looked at me and just so gamely, he goes, okay, now, so who's Squirrel? It's like he was ready. He was like, let's figure this out.
And tell me about Squirrel.
What's the Squirrel House? What's that about? And he said it like so interestingly. Like, I know you're going to have a backstory for this. What's the Squirrel's House about?
His heart was so open. He said, both of them. They said, we're here. We're ready to learn. They asked lots of questions about everything.
At another point, you told him that Orange Cassidy had broke his boob. And there was a little pause. And then your brother said, tore his pec? It's like, yeah, dead on.
I said, Nathan, you have taken to this like a fish to water. Yes. And then we did owe him a lot too, because Ann and I had not looked at the venue website, and we brought metal water bottles to the show, and we got to the front, they were like, you cannot bring those in. Or we realized we couldn't bring them in. And so we're like, just like standing there like, what are we going to do? Are we going to walk back to the hotel and then walk back again, or like throw them out? I guess we could throw them out. And my brother just like so casually just goes, just put them in a bush. We're like, what do you mean? What do you mean? And he was like, just put them in a bush.
He's like, they could be there when you come back.
No, he's like,
I mean, that's true.
Sometimes they'll be there, but sometimes they won't, if you just put them in a bush. And we were like, that's so crazy. All right, fine. Put them in a bush. after the show, looked in the bush. They're still in the bush. It turns
Still
out
there.
I think often when you put something in a bush, it stays there for a long time.
Yeah, people aren't really combing the bushes for metal water bottles.
I'd not fully appreciated
exciting.
This is what was a kind of event where it's important to be there with someone who's like been to a festival before, you know? Who, like knows how a rave works. I'm like, yeah, put it in a bush.
The rush after that main event, like the whole show being so good, to come out and then find your water bottle still
In a
there in
bush.
that bush. Oh
Still
my
in that
God.
bush.
Cherry on top.
Mine was bright too.
Yeah.
But you know what? People weren't looking in the bushes for water bottles.
No.
They were inside watching the show. On that note, should we get down to it?
Yeah.
All right. We go back in time, girls. Last week on Collision, days after we've watched, I would say, a medium fine Dynamite and been like, no need for us to record an episode. We're off to the great state of Texas. We got a Hangman Swerve Will Ospreay segment on Collision. And boy, did we get one.
Yeah.
Hangman comes into Swerve's dressing room. Swerve's sitting there shooting the shit with his little puppy dog Ospreay. Ospreay makes a little face like, oh, oh no. Hangman says, can I have the room? We need to talk for a couple minutes. Ospreay's between them being like, don't hit each other. Ooh, this is fun though. Like living so close to you. But he clears out. He gives him the room and they have a talk.
First, I do have to say that, so as he's leaving, Hangman goes, hey, Will, thank you. And Ospreay, who had kind of a hangdog face where he's like, I'm not even allowed to put paws in the bed. I'm being sent out of the room. He had kind of a face on. When he said thank you, it was like the sun came out and he was like, no, what did he say? Like, no sweat, mate, or something. And it was just like everything, like all of a sudden, he was just so happy again and was like, oh, everything's good. Having a good day.
It's incredible. Also, Ospreay's energy getting kicked out of the room was like a dog being put out of the bedroom, like, no, paws on the bed. Okay. And
he
then
was
Nana was still
from the
there.
room.
Yeah. And then Nana was still there. Nana was like, I'm going to go get some coffee.
Yeah.
He's like,
Nana
Paz
made his
did not want
own.
to be in the bed.
Yeah, Nana made his own excuses. He was like, I don't think I want to be seeing this, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna wash my hair.
He was kind of modeling a behavior for Will Ospreay. He's like, when two people are about to fuck, it's polite to offer to leave the room. You don't have to wait to be asked. What did you guys think of the conversation that ensued?
Honest to God, we didn't watch it. Did we watch it like?
I don't think we saw it till
Friday afternoon. Yeah, it was like borderline. Like, guys, should we circle around a cell phone and like call in a podcast?
Upload a shriek. Just upload one long scream.
It was perfect. It was the kind of thing that if it had landed in our normal cycle, we would have straight up done like at least half the show on that segment alone. Like we have so much more to get to, but there's just so many perfect things in it for like Hangman to be like, the part that pisses me off is that I think you know it. Like, I don't know, for them to just spend all of this time thinking not only about each other, but what each other's thinking, you know what I mean? Like, it's just so good.
Yeah. I think they've done such a good job of like inching towards like not full reconciliation now, but to be like, do you regret it? I just need to know if you regret it. Like they're not apologizing.
No.
They're just saying that. And for Swerve also to say like, I wouldn't have said I regretted it like before, like back when, but now after, you know, the last year or whatever, like I do, like I think the Swerve character's like growth over this past however long has been really good and really incremental. Like, so it really makes sense.
And he kind of called that out too. He's like, if you had asked me right after it happened, I would have said I'd do it again. But after everything that's happened to me this year, I kind of regret it. You know what I mean? Like him calling it out. Yeah.
He's been doing such a good job of selling, like, I'm a man who's learning that actions have consequences, and sometimes those consequences go on and on and on and on and on. And, like, I'm getting to a point in my life where it's like, I don't know, maybe it is worth it to think twice before doing something and to wonder, like, whether I'm still going to be paying for it 2 years from now, you know, or, like, I don't know. It was, I mean, this conversation, they, like, really got deep in a way that it's just, like, you're just not seeing this anywhere else ever on wrestling, really, where it was like, this is a real, like, conversation.
Yeah.
Like a real
no one else
conversation.
is doing, like, a move towards, like, they just turn abruptly with nothing, you know, and this felt so earned. It was really good.
Yeah.
And may I say, it is
Please.
absolute perfect comedy for them to do this incredibly heavy, important, rich, deep conversation. And then right after this, cut to Mox, who grabs a mic and goes, "What the fuck gay hell is this? What the shit are you two doing?"
They did kind of set up before this match, like Mox as like a toxic masculinity guy, and like
He's a
Hangman
homophobe.
triumphed over it. Like,
He's-
yeah.
You know that part in Tremors where the guy's like, "What's with you homos today?"
I can't believe that nobody did an immediate live slug reaction meme for this. Actually, it literally was live slug reaction. Fox is like, "You want to win my belt? Like what? So you can kiss all over it?" It was a great segment, and it ended on this note of like, yeah, like just like detente, like Hangman being like, "I'm bringing my family." Like, no, they're like not saying lots of stuff, you know. Swerve's like, "I'll steer clear." Hangman says, "I'll believe you." Swerve having this thing about the house where he's like, "I wanted to like raise my kids and grandkids in that house, but after thinking about it, I don't know, maybe it was time to let go of the past after all." It was like, oh, boys.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's where we're at. And then Swerve sat there for a long time, stroking a chain that Hangman had left behind. And a lot to unpack there. Mostly about the death match though, because you thought, great, wrestling they've gone deep, but we've also gone broad. We're bringing the chain. We're bringing the chain to the gun show. So then we go to All In. The actual show, not the 0 hour, opens with Death Riders versus the Opps for the Trios belt. Any thoughts about this as the opener? What
This
it, did for you?
Was a totally fine match. I think I have gotten used to a really big, exciting opener, like especially for Dynamites. But so I was a little bit like her because it was like, but it was totally fine. Like I have no beef with it. But
the second they did it, it was like, oh, it is a triple main event. Like, not opening with one of them was like, oh, okay, we're not seeing any of those matches until the end.
It's going to be a while.
Yeah.
I didn't know how long, but yes.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit of a, I mean, I don't know if there's any way around it, because I don't know, if you're going to do that, I don't know what else you would have done. So it's like, it's fine. But it was fine.
But...
all right, I'm trying to get into it. I'm trying to get back into it.
I feel like if you gave us, like, slips of paper with all the matches written on us and told us to order it in a way that maintains the crowd, I'm not sure that in the end we would have come up with anything different, but it was very funny in that moment to be like, and we're starting here. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And but it was good to see our friends the Opps, of course, first thing. That was what we really needed.
That's what we were really clamoring for going into this show, for sure.
I think this match totally fine and fun. The Opps did win, so now they have the belts. But afterwards, Claudio and Gabe Kidd, who's back at it again.
Yeah, that was another one. I was like, oh, good, Gabe Kidd and
Gabe's
Samoa
here.
Joe. My favorites.
I don't know why the thing about Gabe Kidd like came back, and at one point he was like in the van with the Death Riders, and I was fully like, he gets to ride in there? Like, it's like, I understand that he's fighting with them, but like, I didn't think he was like riding in the truck with them.
Okay. It's so funny picturing the like Death Riders coming in their big cool truck and Gabe Kidd just like trotting around next, like right behind it.
They let him have a golf cart, you know.
Maybe they're doing like army chants, like, I don't know, but I've been told, and he's running behind. Okay, so afterwards, Claudio and Gabe Kidd attack the Opps. They got a steel chair around Samoa Joe's neck, and they murdered the man. They killed him, and he had to get put on a stretcher.
Wow, and tell everybody the very smart thought that your sister-in-law had when she saw that.
They came in so hot. They watched the Road 2, and I said, "Okay, what'd you think?" They said, "We have some theories." And my sister-in-law was like, "I think that if the minions of Jon Moxley I see are in a match, and I think that like one of them could get injured, and then they won't be there to like help out with the finish." And this was before the show, and I was like, "That's exactly how wrestling works."
Yeah,
you guys are so right.
You're
like,
so right.
That's
and
incredible.
It is a little funny to be like, you guys read that picture book perfectly. That's exactly what you're supposed to think the Cat in the Hat might do. But like, I still felt that way, you know? It's like, It's its
I don't
own
know
skill.
that we would have like known that soon in the process.
So then, it was exciting to be like, oh, you guys got it almost right. But then it turns out it's the opposite way. Samoa Joe has been taken out, and now we know that he won't be able to come help out in the main event, and neither will his friends for some reason. We'll get to it.
Because they had to ride with him in the ambulance.
I guess if I had the chance to ride, I love the idea of like they're like loitering there, and it's like they're getting in the ambulance, and Samoa Joe's croaking out like "Help, Hangman," and they're kind of like, "It's an ambulance ride." It's pretty fun.
They're telling the EMTs, they're like, he's delirious, probably. His head.
They're like, "You're dreaming, Joe. You're dreaming."
Shibata's using his translator app to talk to the EMTs.
Please close the doors. Like, we will depart now. Okay. So we get all the way to the other end of the show. We're at the Hangman Mox main. We can't possibly recap it. Let's start, though. We'll talk through the walkouts. Entrances. The entrances.
The walkouts.
What did you think of Mr. Hangman entrance?
So Sarah and I woke up at like 7 a.m. on Saturday, and we're like, both of us were so ready to go. And so we had been outside the stadium because we just wanted to people watch when we were waiting for the two sleepyheads. And that man who is in
Two sleepyheads who got up at 8:30 on vacation.
8:30 on vacation. It was not crazy.
So that man who was playing the guitar, actually, I think the whistling woman, although I didn't realize at the time, was also there. They walked by, and Sarah and I were like immediately having clocked their outfits. We're like, he's in the Hangman entrance, and so the whole time I was like, what song is he gonna perform? But he just did like a cool cowboy like song, but it was cool.
It could have been a song. I don't know. I mean, she whistled the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded great, but I was watching it back earlier today, and I was like, I wonder if it's a song I don't know, or if it's just a beautiful whistling tune.
It is so weird how being in the stadium, like you'd think that the entrances would be more cinematic, but there's so much less because you can't see anything because they don't put them on the Tron. So it's like there's some dark people in the front, and you're like, I guess something cool is happening.
We had pretty decent seats, but we were in like the back of the stadium, so almost all of the entrances were completely lost us in the moment.
I don't think there's anywhere in the stadium that you could be and be like, I understand everything that's going on with these entrances.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you're in
unless
the stadium,
you were like front row of the floor, like up by the ramp or something, but otherwise it was just like too far away.
And definitely some people you get a really clear like piece of the like, you know, people who are standing near the Bucks, to be continued. But when you're in the stadium, I would say I really was just like, wow, it's all built for TV. I get that now. It's all for TV. Especially because, again, I'm watching it back and I'm like, God, it looks great on TV. Yeah, I can see. The vision is so clear on TV. It's so funny to be watching it and to be like, this experience is not optimized for me to watch in person, but you do get something from the crowd experience that I don't know that I would even call like watching it in the stadium like better or worse. It's just like totally different. Like the things you're getting, like the rewards you're getting are totally different.
But it is funny to be like, oh, Kenny has some guys, they might be like a chanting monk choir, or they might be production guys dressed in black that I'm not supposed to be seeing.
Or both,
maybe.
Tell. It was hard to tell. And I have internalized, so I'm like, they have to be his little crew of Gregorian monks, surely.
Surely. And they were.
But they moved his Omega sign, so I don't know. But you liked the vibes.
I did like the vibes. That woman, when she finished whistling, she just had such a funny moment where she was like so proud of herself, where she was like, I nailed that. And I was like, imagine like you were a performer and your special skill is whistling. And you're like, I've got a gig. I've booked a gig. It's a stadium show of wrestling fans.
It is literally like the more cowbell sketch. It's like the cowbell just doesn't get to shine on that many songs.
I think that's something I think about in a lot of whenever they have a live performer in the entrance. I'm like, is it weird for you that like you're doing this and you're doing an amazing job, but like no one's thinking about you like at all?
But there are a lot of people. Yeah. I was glad they went back to his face music too. That was very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went great. And I thought it was fun contrast too. Like he didn't say anything, and it reminded me of like a lot of his previous, reminded me of his Double or Nothing package. It reminded me of the one I always forget where he gives the speech, like, how do you be a cowboy, or
with the Dark Order. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But to have it be so, like, he was like mostly absent from it. Like, it was a lot of landscape stuff. I was like, this is good. It's like a good contrast to what's about to happen in the ring. We have some simplicity now, but soon the rivers of blood will begin to flow. Wonderful. And then the Death Riders, of course, all came in their truck together, and they love being in that truck together.
They love being in the truck. Yeah. It was very funny being in the audience for that, because it was like, we heard the Death Riders music start, and everybody starts looking towards all the exits, assuming that they're going to come in through the crowd. And then someone realized they were coming in. I think maybe they started showing the car on the screen. And so we saw like a wave of people on the floor trying to run towards where they thought the car was going to come in. And it's like, what do you think you're going to do? Get hit by the car?
What an honor it would be, Leah, to die in that car's hands. To be run over, to die fast and furious on the Fury Road or whatever.
To get run over by Claudio, who may or may not even have an American driver's license.
Oh, wow.
That would be fun. To be run over by someone without a driver's license. That would be huge. What were your top moments of the match? We got right into the violence.
It was crazy that it started with like fork to the forehead. It was like, wow, if we are opening with this match is crazy.
That's another thing when you're sitting with your non-wrestling fans for that, and you're just like, okay, as I said, buckle up.
Yeah, and your sister-in-law was sitting with me at that point, and she just leans over and she goes, Allie, you had said to me, I was, Hangman's wearing white, so he's definitely gonna bleed. And so I turned to your sister-in-law and said that, and your sister-in-law goes, wait, so is that more likely because of the kind of match that it's a Texas death match, or just because these two people like to bleed? And I was like, yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. Both of these things are true at the exact same time.
So they got those forks out. They said, let's get some color in here right away. Just, and let's open a window real quick and we can focus.
Did you see that one of those grifters was like, it was a gimmicked fork where when you press it, it releases a blood capsule. And everyone's like, the kind of blood capsule that keeps bleeding throughout the whole match.
That's so funny. Like, look at these men. You've watched many matches with them. The thing they love most is releasing blood from their bodies.
Yeah. Can you imagine Jon Moxley's face if somebody suggested to him that he use a blood capsule?
I'm worried that it's like that
safe.
Would be his Darby moment of like he's going into Tony Khan's office and being like, let's do a spot where I chop off my arm. Then we'll see if they think the blood is real. And Tony has to be like, oh my God, please stop. Everybody knows the blood is real, John, please. And then we did have a fairly early Will Ospreay run out. He came on out. He bravely...
Death Riders were menacing, and all by himself, he ran out to save him.
All by himself, and he tried his best, but he got murdered. I don't even remember how. Who killed him? Who killed that boy?
I think Claudio. He had to be put in a little neck brace and
he had to get stretchered out. He had to get stretchered right out of there.
Samojo stretcher back out. And...
You think they only have one back there?
I do, yeah.
And the other stretcher literally made it to the hospital. What do you mean? The local medical facility.
That would make sense because at a later point in this match, Marina got taken out and they just left her on the ground.
Like, that's because of her bad behavior. They don't know about the Hippocratic Oath.
I thought it was maybe because they used the stretcher for Samoa Joe and Ospreay and they didn't have a third stretcher.
I like if you don't have a stretcher, just leaving her there is fine. Well, he came out, he got killed, and of course you're sitting there in the crowd, you're doing the math. You're like, this guy doesn't know anyone else, really.
Yeah, that's it.
In terms of people we knew were backstage, there's Swerve, that's your man of last resort, of course. And I'm not thinking of a lot of other men.
It's like Mark Briscoe. He'll save anybody.
Usually would. I, of course, I will say that one of the first things I did when I got into this stadium, and I know I wasn't alone. I'm sure we were all up to it. I looked right up at that roof and I said, anyone moving up there? And they were. There were a couple people walking up there from minute one. So that was a fun for most of the show being like, what are we doing? Are we hanging? We just hanging out there? Who's up there? Who's watching from up there? And then, of course, at some point in this match, we started to see little Darby rappel down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't see a single moment of Bryan Danielson at the time because every single bit of my attention was focused on Darby because at a certain point, so he came off the rafters.
Well, they played his video, right?
They played his video.
Interrupted. And then we're all looking up and people start spotting him up top. So we're all like, oh my God, it's Darby. So we're all looking and then he stops rappelling down.
Right. So then he freezes there. And so I don't even notice that Bryan Danielson's in the ring. I'm straight up grabbing people going, Darby stuck. Darby got stuck up there. Darby, somebody's got to get Darby down. How are we going to get Darby down? Someone's got to
leave me up here. I love it.
I was straight up convinced that the next thing we were going to see is people reeling Darby back up. So I have missed every single part of Bryan Danielson because my entire body is focused on Darby, but he was not stuck. That was intended. No. We weren't supposed to notice him yet.
Yeah. I don't know how they thought we wouldn't notice him. He was very noticeable. But I guess I still don't understand if they played that video at the right time or the wrong time. But they did want to I think they wanted to distract you from him coming down because they wanted to get him hidden behind because it's so far to come down. So it's like you can't have the cameras follow him the whole way down. That'll be too funny.
Yeah, they had to get him prepped. And I think the video was also distracting maybe from Bryan Danielson kind of sneaking out.
Oh,
but
that's right.
When you were in there,
it was distractions going on at once. I'm not sure that I would have choreographed it differently.
Yeah.
But it was funny. It was the kind of thing where I'm like, I bet this all worked pretty perfectly on TV, and here it's the best and funniest clusterfuck of all time, where it's like we're watching a man that we're not supposed to be watching, and then everyone starts screaming, and you realize Bryan Danielson just took a mask off in the ring, and he just came in his joggers. He just came.
He looked really
cute.
In
his joggers. He came out dressed in his joggers. I don't know.
No complaints from me.
He did look cute.
He looked cute.
It was a little bit like, oh, and you came here for revenge in that outfit? I don't know.
He saw them get that plastic bag out, and he was like, oh, this is my time to shine.
It was
take
fully
a little revenge.
It was fully like you had a year to plot, and you came up with, I'm going to show up with a mask.
In some ways, it is quite relatable. Think of all the things that I've had a year to do, and then it turns like the night before, and it's like, oh my God, right? So maybe that was fine. And then, so we got all the run-ins. We had Bryan Danielson in his Blue Panther mask, and he's beating them up. And then Darby comes down, and Darby distracts Mox while Hangman gets a buckshot on him. And then Darby does it. He's coffin dropping. And I thought, God, it's really nice to see him back. And to be honest, I actually do want to say it. He shouldn't have been up there. But yeah, of course, I loved that Everest video.
I know. Yeah.
Like, I guess if you're already all the way up there, then yes, I'm glad that you did that.
Yeah, take a video for your big wrestling return.
That's very cool. It's very cool to have managed to give a wrestling promo on Mount Everest. It is.
I guess you gotta give it to him.
Yeah,
you gotta give it to him.
And when we were looking up top, I was like, I hope to God Darby's gonna come down from the top of the stadium. And,
I know, and it was
he didn't
so
let me
far
down.
up.
It was so far up.
It was incredibly far.
Yeah. He wouldn't have been able to do that if the roof was open, you know? Or maybe he would have. I don't really know how that roof works, but... and so then, culmination of this match, we have Marina has been playing errand girl for Mox throughout the match and doing violences and getting little tools of murder for him, etc. And he sent her over to get I don't know, was it the chain with the key or
the briefcase?
No.
So she had the key.
She had the chain around her neck. Yeah.
Yeah. So she gave him the key, and then she went to go get the briefcase. And then as she reached under the desk to get the briefcase, Nana was under there and snapped a handcuff around her wrist. So then she was handcuffed to the desk. But here's my favorite part: she was holding the briefcase, and he had asked her to go get the briefcase so he could hit Hangman with it. Yeah. Mox comes off and goes after her, and the two of them are just pulling at the handcuffs as if they could just pull it off. Mox could have just grabbed the briefcase from her and left her, because it's not like she couldn't have handled Nana on her own. But the two of them are just keystone copping the handcuffs and being like, it won't come loose. I don't know. What do we do now?
It's Toontown rules. It's Toontown rules.
Wrestlers just aren't that bright, so.
Never forget that. Never forget that.
Obsessed with it.
But yeah, so Nana is there. He's been set up as a little trap. Swerve comes out. He has the chain. Hangman's looking at him. Swerve slides the chain across into the ring towards Hangman, and
they have a long stare.
Long look, and you could, there's a lot going on there. It was like, I'm doing this. Like, Swerve has that look of it's like there's a lot to unpack. Like, why am I doing this? Like, what do I want from you? What do I need from you? And Hangman's being like, do I take this? Like, it was really. My goodness. Yeah. And he did take it. He did take the chain, and he finally, at last, to the final completion. Jon Moxley was choked out, and he sold like a demon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he tapped, which is
Yeah.
good for him,
Salute.
Like, he didn't do that pass out thing that's allegedly more manly.
No.
Yeah.
He
tapped all the way out.
He tapped.
He landed the plane.
Enthusiastically.
You know what? I got to give it to him.
Yeah.
Gotta give it to him. It was a very soggy middle, but he landed that plane.
He landed the plane, yeah.
I think we can confidently say that Death Rider's story was fun the whole time.
It's been...
Gonna get everyone so mad at us. So our big takeaways were Death Riders was fine the whole time. The show was too long, and
I think everybody seemed like unsafe workers.
Yeah, I was
so
noticing
true.
a lot of that. No, listen, no one's trying to, on this podcast, no one's trying to forgive the Death Riders, their many sins. They didn't do good storytelling for a long time, but it is important if you have a chance to bring the plane in for safe landing. Yeah. It's important that you do that, and I think they said we can do a water landing, and they did do a water landing, and it's like, where were we supposed to be landing? I don't know. I didn't buy these tickets. It probably wasn't in the water. But everyone is okay, and they're in lifeboats.
Yeah.
And Hangman is guiding us with our compass towards land.
It's
okay.
If you're smart and thoughtful and powerful, you can say, "Hey, the turbulence during the flight sucked ass, but the landing was smooth."
Yep.
You can say
better
that.
to land than to die.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're gonna choose between not landing the plane and landing it, let's land it.
That's the new trolley problem. It's just, you're on a plane and the turbulence has been horrible. Would you rather crash into the ground and die a fiery death, or have a slightly not great water landing?
It's a good reflection in this current customer service focused America to be like, you have a plane full of people who are fucking mad at you. And they're going to complain, they're all so mad. You can either land the plane and they're still going to be mad at you, or you can fucking kill them. Just kill them.
When you put it that way, it's a miracle that we got
it's like, wow, maybe you should crash the plane, actually. Yeah.
There must have been moments that Toni was just lying in bed being like, and then I crashed the plane, and they scream in agony. Oh, how they scream.
Toni in the scrum said so many times, and ticket sales have been great with Jon Moxley on top. And it was so funny because it felt so defensive. It's actually been fine. So please stop yelling at me on the internet.
Ann and I were in a room together at the hotel, and we were so exhausted, obviously, after the show. But we were like, we'll just put on the scrum to kind of calm us down. And I don't know, at a certain point it started calming us down, but for a lot of it, we were just doing our Tony Khan impression.
and guys, it's really hard to run a wrestling promotion. And someone has to lose.
Some people think it's actually that there's a right answer, but there's actually no right answer. It's you can only do what you think is right in the moment. And it turns out things changed a lot, and you're just trying your hardest. And then we had this whole fantasy we were cooking up where we're like, these aren't even real news people, because some of these people are getting up there, they're on the verge of saying hi, I'm here from sports.
Yeah, someone did, I think, say they were here from sports. It was okay, they definitely are production assistants who are assigned to Toni, and they're like, he is so wound up after a show and he has to sleep. So we're just going to get some extras in a room. They're going to pretend to be from media outlets, and we're going to tell them this is a podcast.
So we said that's called sports. Especially when he goes to the solo tone zone. We're that's what's happening. They're plants.
Yeah.
I think Trevor Dame always complains about the fact that at least every scrum has at least 4 questions that are hi, I'm from City. Have you ever thought about whether you'd like to come to City? And they're
And
that's
for
because
TonyCon, that's an
the
easy
point is-
15 minutes.
Yeah, the point is to put him to bed. He'll just talk himself all the way to sleep. So
We were
he
like,
just,
they get one of the reporters just asks him a question and then like basically follows him home while he's answering it and follows him into the bathroom. He's brushing his teeth and follows him to bed, kisses him on his little head just as he says his last like, "Oh, have we got any more questions out there?" And they say, no, Tony, you can go now.
go fast to sleep. The relationship, and he's like, the relationship with CMLL is really, really good. And then he just drifts away.
He's so funny. Why are we even talking about this? My God. Anyway, then Hangman got the belt out of the briefcase and he proved to us all that our flag was still there. Belt in briefcase. A lot of founders stuff at this show. And the crowd went wild. And I don't know if you could hear it on the crowd did go really fucking wild.
Okay,
I mean,
I
really
will
for the
say,
whole
I
goddamn
don't want to
thing.
get into this like insanely, but
Yeah.
I have to agree with everyone. They did not fucking mic that crowd correctly because
Yeah.
when I was watching the Hangman thing back, especially Hangman's entrance, it sounded like we were like golf clapping when we heard Hangman's entrance. The whole fucking place lost their shit when the Good Boy music played.
Yeah.
Like there was definitely times where the crowd was like, "Oh my God, I don't know what I'm watching right now." I mean, not during this match. I just mean in general.
In general.
In general, there was moments where I was like, "I don't know what I'm watching right now," but like, especially with anything Hangman or Swerve related, the crowd was fucking losing it, and I do not think you could tell that through the TV.
Yeah.
No.
But like I was hoarse for like 3 days after
Dude.
the show, and I was not screaming more than anyone else was.
I had to take ibuprofen in order to sleep that night because my throat was so fucking sore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was crazy. Could not talk at all on Sunday.
Guys, have we been doing this for 50 minutes?
Yeah,
God.
we're at 48 minutes.
All right.
We haven't
lock
done
in,
anything.
I don't know how.
Just cleared our
I
throats.
don't know how to lock us in.
We haven't even gotten to the concourse.
Jesus Christ. Okay, then he gave the post-match promo. He said, "Thank you so much. I'm happy now." And we all cried and we're having a wonderful time. Let's move on. Hangman opens this week Dynamite with a speech that he gives where he's just like, "Thank me, no thank you." And then he thanked everybody. And he thanked Orange Cassidy and Jay White and everyone who helped him get this award. And some of the people got really big pops and some of them got much smaller pops. And our son got a really big pop. Because
Really
everybody
big
loves him.
pop.
And they're really sad about his titty.
Really
Yeah.
big chant, freshly squeezed.
Yeah. They
Jay
said-
White, Adam Copeland, sorry for your loss, but
I was sorry to Jay White. I was like, Jay, you can get it back. It's one of those things where when you're listening to all to who gets the pops, you're like, it's so important to have like a certain like a 2-word chant, and then people really know what to do when they're excited.
I
but if
know.
you don't have that 2-word chant, people don't know what to do as much. And I actually thought this is something I was thinking about during the women's casino gauntlet. I was like, we need to get a few more 2-word chants going for these girls because sometimes you're like, I'm trying to scream, but I'm not sure what to scream.
Yeah, right.
yeah, so
Right.
true.
Yeah. So that's a hot tip. All right. And then, oh God. And then there's a trios match, and that's the main event of the show. And Hangman pinned, it was Hangman, Mark Briscoe, and Will Hobbs versus Mox, Claudio, and Yuta. Hangman pins Claudio. Mox afterwards beating up Hangman some more. And then it cut to the rafters. It was kind of like, it looked like he was in a little Italian village for some reason. I think it was like the little roof, the tiles that were coming off the roof or something. And Darby's just up there watching. And I think that distracted Mox. And then Hangman buckshotted him.
It was crazy that match happened. Like, I don't
It
understand.
was.
Why did it happen?
Yeah, because it's like the Texas death match should have put the whole thing to bed, so it was very weird to have them fight each other again a few days later. And I was like, well, surely there's going to be like an angle where the Death Riders break up at the end, but then there wasn't. So it's like, I'm perfectly happy for Mox and Darby to do a little feud now, but it just seemed like, why are we running this back?
I expected Mox to be off TV. I don't think I expected the Death Riders to break up immediately.
I think they have to. I mean,
but it was like, if they're
Claudio-
going to be on TV, like, I also expected Mox to not wrestle, but like, if they're going to be there, like, there should be a reason.
Claudio and Yuta have been in a faction with Mox for 2 different factions. Like, they have to break up now.
Guys, they're really addicted to him. Okay, they're addicted to his cult leader personality. And if you want this group to break up, you've got to get a deprogrammer in there. And you tell me who that is. But someone has to get to work. It doesn't just happen, okay? People don't
Orange
just
Cassidy
suddenly
has
realize.
to come back to save Yuta.
I know. That might be right.
and he just lets Claudio come with him to the conglomeration.
I love the idea of OC accidentally deprogramming Claudio and be like, and now I've got this guy? Okay. I think he'd like that. He'd be like, swing me. Swing
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That'd be fun. I think it'd be fun if Orange Cassidy, Yuta, and Claudia were now in a little faction. I think that'd be an interesting vibe to follow.
Let's just start saying that's what happened this week, maybe, and
Okay. The new conglomeration.
manifested.
see if people go with it. Yeah. Okay, well, I think we did all of our discussions there. Let's move on. Okay, Swerve and Ospreay.
Oh, can I also say, just at the end there, Hangman said that he's a man, but he cried at the end, and it doesn't make him less of a man, and everyone cheered for it and booed toxic masculinity, which I
That's
loved.
good.
Loved it. Loved
a
it.
rare thing to enjoy. Okay, so we have a couple of Don Callis family things going on at this show. First, we have Don Callis family versus Big Boom AJ Costco guy and the conglomeration.
That was so fun. It was
so
so
fun.
fun. I want to say, like, I would, if you asked me, like, will you enjoy your Costco guys match? I would have been like, I don't know. I think it'll be fine, but you've got to give it to these damn Costco guys. Big Boom AJ really is putting on a show for you. And I got so swept up in it. People were saying, like, we want Rizzler. And I was, at first, I was just like, guys, quiet. He's a little child, and if he wants to come out, he will. But then the little Rizzler did come out in his little hat and his little boots. And I said, oh, the little
Looking
Rizzler.
so small.
And I was like, they got me. I accidentally am so happy the little Rizzler is here.
I know. And when Big Justice, he's graduated to taking bumps and
Yeah.
a spear, I was
He's
like,
bumping.
wow.
At a point in this match, Sarah leaned over and goes, this time last year, Big Justice needed to hold someone's hand going up the steps, and now he's taking bumps. And I said, wow, that's really meaningful. What the
Sunrise,
The little
sunset.
Rizzler jumped up on the ropes.
Yeah,
I was like,
really
wow.
confidently. That little Rizzler. Yeah.
That little Rizzler. And Greg was a very bad boy, and he slapped
So
Big
mean.
Justice.
So mean to the children.
beat up
But don't
a
worry,
child.
the good guys got it back. And
Yeah.
Big Justice got his. He
Yeah.
got his revenge.
And
He
we
took
were
Greg
booming around with everybody. We were yelling
Yeah.
boom huge.
Yeah.
Got
we were
hyped.
Listen,
loving the boom.
We boom. Anytime one of the paid podcaster people complains about the Costco guys, I will be screaming.
I know.
That was
I
the
know.
best time of my life. Hey, you know what? Everything is for you TV people. That was for us.
That was for us. That was for
I know.
us.
And why are people mad that they've got like famous TikTokers who appeal to children on the wrestling show? It's like,
Yeah.
we're trying to get viewers here, guys. Like,
Yeah,
what is the
don't
problem?
forget
It's
your
a
roots.
pre-show.
Right, it's the pre-show. On top of all of it, it's the fucking pre-show. It's not even
Yeah.
the real show, so shut
Jeff
up.
Jarrett talks on the pre-show. Like, anything can happen on the pre-show. What are we being precious about?
I agree, girls. I think it's the kind of. I think that in the past I might have been like, oh, do we need the? Well, we can have the fine. We'll have the Costco guys. Now I'm like, so important to get the Costco guys out there.
It wouldn't feel like a pre-show without the Costco
Yeah,
guys.
it's gonna feel like they got their money's worth if they don't see the little Rizzler.
So you got to see the little Rizzler.
To be honest, I would not be opposed to every single live show starting with a little boom.
A little Rizzler.
A little Rizzler.
You think we should bring the boom?
I would
perhaps?
bring the boom.
Oh my
I would bring it.
god!
Yeah.
Well, let's light the fuse first.
Oh,
Then
sure.
we'll bring the boom. Okay. So then we also learned during the pre-show that Adam Cole is not going to be fighting Kyle Fletcher. They don't really give any details. They're just like, he isn't cleared to fight. He's not. So the match is replaced with this 4-way that I think is Daniel Garcia, Sammy Guevara, Dustin Rhodes, and Kyle Fletcher. You might say, what do you mean you think? Well, you'll find out soon. And Adam Cole comes out to give a speech beforehand that's actually quite emotionally moving. But at this point, where are we, Leah?
Me and Allie thought it was just going to be the 4-way. We hadn't realized that was going to happen. So your sister-in-law had said somewhere in this stadium,
Somewhere
they're selling alcoholic milkshakes.
Yeah.
The two of us set out on a fucking quest.
We thought it'd be easy.
We thought it would be easy. It's not. We checked near our section. We went upstairs.
That was our first mistake. We shouldn't have done that.
Right. And then we were going back and we ran into Sarah. And Sarah was like, did you know that Adam Cole is giving a speech saying he's retiring right now?
I think
were like,
we had said, I think
fuck?
Sarah came out with us and and at a certain point, Adam Cole's music started playing and we were like, why is Adam Cole's music playing? And she was like, he's probably on commentary, which made perfect sense. But then a couple minutes later, she looked at her phone and she was like, "Oh, he's like giving like a retirement speech."
We missed the first part of it somehow, and then we ducked back in to watch the rest of it from like the doorway.
Yeah. So we saw that. It was
really sad. It was really
sad.
affecting.
It was really sad, yeah.
The way that Kyle and Brody hugged him was like really affecting.
gutting.
Yeah, it was really awful.
Everybody
Yeah.
crying was
Yeah.
very rough. Yeah,
Yeah.
since I did see all of it, not to brag, but
Oh, you saw all of it? Wow. Didn't know that was allowed even.
So then we
yeah.
launched back on our quest, and then Anna, at what point, what were you doing that you found us?
No, the show
I
had
think
the
four-way started.
The four-way
and so I
started.
was like, I think I got ice cream.
Yeah.
And then I ran into you guys.
And then then we walked all the way in the other direction. We're trying to find
Yeah.
these.
So I've joined the
milkshakes.
quest at this point.
She's joined
yeah.
the quest. By
the way, I asked a Bluebell employee. I like went up
didn't know.
to a Bluebell employee and was like, somewhere there's a Bluebell that's selling alcoholic milkshakes. Do you know where it is? And he goes, no, that doesn't happen at the stadium, but it sounds cool. He was like, it sounds great. Tell me where that happens. And I was like, in this vibe where he's like, what you're saying is that people add alcohol like that they brought in. Like he definitely thought it was sketchy. And I was like, okay, that's not what I heard though.
Well, anyway.
And I ran into you guys, and you guys were like, you want to come with us to find a milkshake? And I was like, yeah, it's the four-way.
It's just the
I don't need to
four-way.
see this.
So we're walking. We get a very far way. I think we had to go back and ask my brother, like, where are these milkshakes?
Yeah.
We get there. I'm in line for a milkshake. It's a real boutique experience.
Yeah.
Quite a while.
I
Very good
decided
milkshake.
I didn't want that in the end, and there was a Sweet Baby Ray's right next to it. So I got in that line to get brisket. And I really wanted brisket mac and cheese, and I got to the entire front of that whole fucking line and realized they were out of the mac and cheese. So I got a brisket hot dog. This is going to be relevant later. Just please understand that I'm holding a hot dog. Go ahead.
I'd already
brisket.
forgotten what, so I was just like, okay, yeah. Anyway, so she's gotten that. She comes, we're waiting for my boutique milkshake. I know it's insane to be like, I'm so proud of myself, but the four-way is still going on, and I just looked through the door, and then suddenly I was like, oh my God, the tag match is next. The tag match is next. Right? The tag match is going to be next. It had not occurred. It's I hadn't thought through the show, but suddenly I was like, I actually know how wrestling works.
Yeah, the Bucks are coming. The Bucks are coming.
The Bucks are coming. And it was like, they can't be doing this for much longer. We've been walking around for like half an hour. So it's like, we have to get these milkshakes. I think the match ended like right as I got my milkshake, and we were like, oh my God, like,
I was like, Dustin Rose is crying.
We're
He must
fucking
have won.
screwed.
We
Well,
sent Ann in. Yeah, we sent
Yeah,
in
I
Ann
had to
one,
go
of
look,
the,
yeah.
one of the doorways, and you were like, Dustin Rhodes is
won. He
won,
won
and
the
he's
bet. We're like, what do you
crying.
mean?
Yeah.
And so-
we're like, take your time, Dustin. It's your moment.
So we're power walking like elderly people in a mall, like straight up power walking with our food, and we're going, Dustin Rhodes, milk it. Dustin Rhodes, take longer.
This is your moment.
It's your first title win. Like, take as long as you need, buddy.
You're in Texas. This is for you.
Honestly, it was great drama because there was a whole part of that where it's like there weren't any entrances out into the stadium. Like it was like you were just in a back hallway, and that was when we didn't know if God was walking with us.
We had no idea.
How many footprints there were in the sand? Yeah, we didn't know.
And I think we ended up sliding into our seats as the Bucks music hit. Or
No,
was it
'cause
Ospreay?
it was Ospreay.
Ospreay.
We
We
Mr.
like,
Assassin's Creed, yeah.
But it was like perfect. Like we
could
sat
not
down
have-
right as
And but it was I can't stop thinking about it. I'm just like, I know how a wrestling show. I actually know how a wrestling show works.
It was incredibly good for you, because God knows if you hadn't said that, I might have been fucking meandering, because I was like, I'm really out of it.
It was honestly. Thank you God, you got us there. And anyway, okay, so now we're into Young Bucks, Ospreay, Swerve.
So we're in our seats. The Ospreay music starts. I'm standing there. I'm fucking holding this giant hot dog full
Covered
of
in brisket.
and I can't get over it. And I keep saying to Ann, what am I supposed to do with this hot dog? Why am I holding this hot dog? And so, like, Ospreay is like, we're supposed to be chanting Ospreay along with this theme song, and I'm trying.
Hot dog.
Right. So I was like, Ann, what am I doing with this hot dog? And she looks at me, and she looks at her shirt, and she just gently points to Hot Dog Summer. And I went,
Hot
what
and ready.
the fuck? I didn't even plan that. Anyways,
It
I
was
had
a
to put it.
beautiful moment.
I
Yeah.
had to straight up put the hot dog down, and I couldn't
I
touch
didn't
it
realize
again.
that you put the hot dog down.
I couldn't touch it again until after the whole match was over.
She had to warn me so we wouldn't like kick it by accident.
Oh.
For some reason, the entire concept of the hot dog was upsetting me so much.
You were really agitated at this point. Like, I was feeling a little agitated myself because I was like, God, look what I almost did to her with this milkshake quest.
But it's pretty beautiful when you think about it, that it's hot and ready, hot dog Ospreay summer, and the whole time Ospreay was out there, you had a hot
that
dog
hot
with
dog.
you.
I was holding that hot dog. I was holding it. Yep.
You were holding it so good, except for the part where you put it on the floor, I guess. And you and Ann made a pact not to kick it.
It was sweet, really, when you put it that way. Yeah.
So he does his Assassin's Creed entrance. I think I only realized, I think we were into Swerve's entrance by the time I leaned forward and I went, guys, he's the aerial assassin.
And by this point in the wrestling show, like, you're already so dazed because you've been cheering for so long. It's just like, I don't know. No, even less of a brain than usual.
It was truly a surreal moment of the night.
Yeah, and it wasn't a night. I also kept saying like, and
Again, it's
and
4
then
p.m.
tonight. It's like it's the middle of the sun is coming in. You know, it's like the sun is coming in on your head.
It's not right. It's not right.
Sick. Yeah. So that happens, and then
after Ospreay's entrance, JoJo starts singing "Ain't Nobody," which I did not know was for a song of the Indies.
It was
but
great
I do
to
know that it's
learn
a song
from,
about how
it was great to learn that from One Nation Radio today. Let's just say that now. It's like now we're educated, okay? So
we're
worry.
educated now.
We understand why this happened. Go.
But at the time, what I'm hearing is "Ain't Nobody Love Me Like You Do."
Ain't nobody love me better.
Ain't Nobody Love Me Better in between Ospreay's entrance and Swerve's entrance. And it's like, what am I supposed to think? You
We
know?
were like,
If
this
you're
is a
woman
commitment
without
ceremony.
context, you're just like, wow, they've really been getting along.
Especially when the whole build to this match is, can they get along? Can they trust each other? Can they work as a team? And then you play this song. Yeah, it's about them.
Yeah.
You really just saw it.
Them coming together. Like, they've learned that ain't nobody.
They said, I thought maybe somebody could love me better, but it turns out you're it. It really did feel like a bridge, because it's like, then you got Swerve. Swerve did his normal walkout. So it's like, obviously it does make sense. Like, Ospreay had his assassin crew and they did their fun thing. And then Swerve had this song. But like, in my head, it's still like, Ospreay did his thing, and then there was the bridge that shows you the relationship to each other, and then Swerve did his entrance. So we're really confused. And Leah has that hot dog. I'm getting wasted on this milkshake.
We're just turning to each other saying, what are we supposed to think? What are they trying to tell us? What are the normies? What do they think? It's like, oh, they think it's Swerve's theme on the Indies. Okay.
Yeah. But surely they didn't all know that.
Surely they didn't all know that.
Anyway, and so then we get the Bucks entrance. The Bucks come out. This is
which only makes it more surreal. I'm having this moment. I'm sorry. My spirit
Again,
is
there's
not.
A hot dog on the floor.
There's a hot dog.
Never forget that hot dog.
My spirit is not in my body at this point. Like, I'm having weirdest experience.
Well, because it was, none of us want to miss the Young Bucks, but you know that the person who were being like, we'll get you there was Leah when we're running.
So we're all pretty flustered.
She's going to be so unwell if we don't make it back. But
we knew it was so important.
But she was pretty unwell anyway, actually, regardless, as you can tell from how she's talking about it 5 days later.
She's really, we really haven't stopped talking about how brilliant Allie was for knowing this was the match and the hot dog. It's
the fact that I was holding a hot dog and was just
and the
staring
Young Bucks
at
came
it.
out, and the Young Bucks came out. And they came out, and this is during some of these entrances, again, it's like it's all made for TV, and you really realize it because you're like, oh, all of the screens are devoted to showing their cool graphics for TV, but I want to use the screen to see what's happening up there.
Yeah, because they're so small, and they're surrounded by cameramen, so like Swerve walking in is like one tiny figure in the distance, and 10 guys around him, you know?
Yeah, you can't figure it out. You have no idea what's happening.
But the Bucks did look like they were wearing, and they did turn out to be wearing this, like, I think it was nautical theme. It really was, right? Because they had their little navy pants on with the stripes. Anyway, they walk across the stage to the left, away from the ring. You're like, what's going on? Oh, they have a boat over there. They have a boat, and they climb into the boat in their little naval uniforms, and they're doing Washington crossing the Delaware.
And the
So
boat
funny.
travels a certain amount of distance from the stage, but then it stops.
Then
I thought it was going around
I thought
the
it was
whole
going
Me
all
too.
the way.
And I was so ready. I was
too.
going to scream my face off if it
I
came
wanted
to
it
us.
to get to us so badly,
I
and then it
know.
only went around like a quarter of the way. It was such a disappointment.
It was
Although,
only-
I mean,
so
it makes
funny
sense.
though. Yeah, it was so funny though.
So
and when
funny.
the boat went up in the air,
Oh my
and like,
god! And the spyglass,
Yeah.
which you could see from a distance. Yeah.
and to me, it felt like the Bucks were also having like surreal out of body moments where they were like, "We're on a fucking boat in the middle of this wrestling ring."
So funny to do Washington crossing the Delaware. It's just like, what a capstone to the founding fathers, you know?
You just got to, I mean, we give it to them every week, but it's like, they're the funniest men alive.
They're the
like, you
funniest
can
men
always
alive.
think of something insane
Intense
to do.
comedy.
And they really do understand that you're playing with the cheap seats, because it was Ham City with the way they were using their spyglass.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys
Yeah.
really know how to, I'm far away, but I understand what's going on.
Yeah, there were a few moments, like Luther had a moment like that too, where he was going like, and I was like, wow, you're really miming. I can tell what's going on. Good job.
Yeah, me back here can really follow this. Thank you, Luther.
Thank you.
I have to say, I feel a little bad. I think during the live show, a number of times we all turned to each other and said, oh, a mommy's little ham contender. I can't remember most of them. And I want to say publicly, kind of a notes app apology to the entire AEW team, you know, like to all the wrestlers. If you were trying really, really hard at All In to get that mommy's little ham, don't do that at big pay-per-views anymore. You know, just save that for the weekly show, because that's when we're going to remember to write down that you should get an award.
Especially
and
if you
not
know
for
we're
the
at the
person at
show.
the pay-per-view,
Yeah.
I'm afraid.
We're not taking the notes at the time. You know?
We should have told
and-
you that ahead of time.
I love the idea that the result of this is that the roster will be like, oh, the girls are going to be at the show, so it's not worth trying because they won't remember.
Oh my God, you're right. I fucked up.
They're going to be so serious, not a ham to be seen on the big pay-per-views.
So you do still have to ham. Just don't be upset if you don't get an award. Just be like, the award is that we'll keep giving out the award. But if you displease us, we could discontinue the award.
Yeah, that feels
So
right.
do your best. But, you know, I'm sorry that I can't remember who won, because a lot of you tried. A lot of you tried. All right, so we get the Bucks in the ring, and we have Bucks, Ospreay. Oh, yeah, and Justin Roberts read out a little Fife song thing. Oh, God, no one's doing it like him. No one's doing it like him. What'd you guys think of the match?
Oh my God.
It really, like, it was one of those moments where I was like, God, all four of these men are so good at keeping a crowd on their fucking feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was like to be in that match and just living and dying by it. And like, it was the fact that I believed that either team could lose really made every single near fall so potent, where I was just like, this could be it.
Yeah. They did such a good job of having two stipulations that both have interesting story directions. So you're like, I don't know what they're going to go with. And then, like, obviously they're all, like, incredible wrestlers. So it was, like, so fast and fun and good. Like, I was just screaming my head off. The whole crowd was screaming their heads off. And I thought all the, like, kind of Swerve Ospreay, like, all their body language was just, like, very friendship-based and very affectionate. And it was, like, an interesting, I mean, ain't nobody, you know?
Ain't nobody.
Also, watching it back later, the fact that 2 separate times Excalibur was like, and by the way, the Young Bucks are telepathic and they don't actually have to communicate out loud. They just think their thoughts at each other.
know.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
We
Watching
know,
it
actually.
back, like, commentary could not have hit it harder that, like, the Young Bucks, they're a real tag team. They're a tag team that doesn't need to speak, and Ospreay and Swerve are really fighting uphill here.
But they sold so well that they were like, we don't already have it, but like we have it. You know, it's like we have a bond that we could choose to build. Like maybe we were born for this. You know what I mean? Like you really bought it. You were like, they're meant to be wrestling together.
Yeah, two people like coming together. It felt like a real like culmination of a like they're not on the same page, but now like they're getting
Look at how
there.
in sync they are on these moves, though. You know, it's like, and they did a little. They did have a little. They had a little friendly fire spot, but then they shook it off. So you can't get caught up in all that.
I think like Swerve got knocked down for a while from the friendly fire, and then the next thing they were beating up on Ospreay, and then Swerve like managed to crawl up and get in the way to save Ospreay. I was like, ooh, look at them choosing not to hold that against him.
And anyone who said online that they didn't like that is evil. And you don't have to listen to what they say. You don't have to listen to someone who says, like, I don't think that he should have come and, like, thrown his body in front of his friend. Like, okay, well, I guess
do you even understand wrestling? Like, what the point of wrestling is?
The answer is fucking no. So
you need to celebrate love.
You need to celebrate love. Leah, are you ready to call Matt Jackson by his true name? By his one true name?
Matt Jackson's a pin pig.
You heard her right. You heard her.
Yep.
He's a pin
I was
pig.
like, of course he's taking the pin. He loves to take the pin.
He loves taking the pin. Matt Jackson took the pin. Swerve and Ospreay won the match. The Bucks are EVPs no longer.
And Swerve pulled Ospreay on top of him. They did a huge snuggle.
When I got this pay-per-view on my computer, said time to rewatch some stuff. That was the first thing I rewatched. I said, I have my priorities in order. I'm going to go watch that Swerve Ospreay hug and see up close what their faces looked like. And the answer was radiant. They so those were men who, like, obviously in kayfabe they're having a great day, but like for a shoot they were like, we fucking killed it. This
just
went
cupping
the best
each other's heads, just like so close. Yeah, very tender. Loved it.
Very moving stuff. Okay, so now we got a storyline cooking. The Bucks appear on this week's Dynamite. They pull up to the venue in an Uber, driven by a man who doesn't even come get their suitcases out of the truck. It's a bad driver, okay? Because they all get the suitcases out of the truck for you.
Yeah.
It's like almost impossible to make them stop.
It
from
is.
Doing that.
Although it just now occurred to me, do they do that for men the same as they insist on doing it for women?
I have no idea.
I don't know either.
That's the way that our lived experience is limited, I guess.
Men, let us know.
You tell us. Like, do they have those bags for you? So the Bucks have a backstage segment where Renee comes up and is interviewing them, like full mean girl, being like, how do you guys feel now that like you got your asses handed to you and you don't have real jobs anymore? And they're really pissed off. And they're stomping back. They're go away, Renee. And Marina comes by. They're like, hey, Marina. And she's mad at them. I'm like, they didn't do anything to you, Marina. They're fine. They're fine. Matt Jackson says, people are so freaking fickle around here. Their EVP is being crossed out on their dressing room, which does look like a broom closet.
And they crossed out EVP and just wrote Matt and Nick. And this was after commentary had joyfully been like, we don't have to call them Matthew and Nicholas anymore. We can call them Matt and Nick. It was like everyone was just so furious that they had to call them by their full names. And it's just a highlight of their day that they get to shorten their names again. I fucking love it.
I think Excalibur was like, they can't push us around anymore, Tony. Incredible.
It was so smart that they were like, let's capture the feeling that this would be like the best day at your job, the one day that you and your mortal work nemesis look at each other and are like, it's fine, because the Young Bucks aren't EVPs anymore. Like, unexpected people are just like shaking hands and saying, peace be with you, as they walk through the back. And that was the tone of this segment, which I thought was pretty great. Don Callis comes up to them. He says, I think it's an abomination that this is happening to you. And then he said, now that Kenny's dead, I think we can do some business. Kenny lost his match. We'll get to that in a minute. He's like, they were like, we'll never join your family. But maybe. We'll see. Nick looked, this was a moment where Nick looked like, and we'll talk about this when we're alone. Nick looked like, you're saying stuff that I'm not sure you should be saying. But
this was another moment where I loved so much, where one of the Bucks was like, I'm not on board, but in public, we will always have the same face. So we'll talk about it.
So sure, why don't we get hugged by Don Callis right now? Why not? Yeah, why not? And then they had a match versus Josh Alexander and Hechicero. They were with Josh Alexander and Hechicero versus Bandito, Brody King, and Jet Speed. And they did experience a few more disappointments and indignities on the way to the ring.
They posed. There was no pyro.
There was no pyro.
Their Chiron just said Matt and Nick, kind of in like a Comic Sans-y type
It got
font.
cut off halfway. It's like they had their normal high-class Succession video, and then it got cut off completely, and someone uploaded Matt and Nick in Comic Sans, and then it said like no EVPs.
And one of the T's in Matt was lowercase, and I think it was like the I in Nick, and it was just like
and it was floating
so
around like a
sloppy.
screensaver.
Yeah,
And they looked so mad
They were
about
so
it.
mad.
Yeah.
For some
Them
reason,
having a temper tantrum the whole time was just so funny. It was beautiful.
And it is like they were born. They were born to be having temper change. This is how I like to see my Young Bucks. To be honest, this is what I prefer to when they have power. I don't like it as much when they have power. I like when they don't and they're mad about it.
They're so mad. Also, sorry, just to go back really quick.
Yeah.
When they interfered in the Hangman Mox match, this was after their match. They were wearing their gear bottoms. Nick was not wearing a shirt. Matt had put on a shirt.
Final form.
If you can call it a shirt.
Form.
It was like a neckline that had
It
gone
looked
down.
like a halter top.
It looked like a halter. It looked insane. And the fact that he put that on top of his gear pants fucking sent me to heaven. The Bucks are comedy kings forever.
Yeah. He was like, the girls love the deep V. It's going on.
And
It gets deeper and deeper. Oh,
And every
perfect.
time we see a deep V now, we think of Matt Jackson. We're like, wow, he would look so banging in this. It's kind of his neckline. Okay, so what do you think? What would you want to see next from the Young Bucks? / do you think we'll see more Swerve and Ospreay team ups? Ospreay obviously out for a while. They put a cone on him. Yeah, so.
Yeah, poor Ospreay. I think they could milk this for like quite a while, I think. Like their humbled like humiliation. I think at some point they're gonna have to come up with another direction. And I think it's interesting for them to ally with the Don Callis family, who they already distrust and don't hate, or distrust and don't like. And so I think that they could potentially, like in the future, like have Don Callis like betray them in a way that turns them face for a little while, which could be fun. But like at the same time, I'm sort of like really hesitant to like try to book the Bucks, because I'm just like, they're going to come up with something that's going to be better than anything I could ever imagine. So who knows?
Yeah. Totally. But it is fun for them to have to like team up with Don Callis, who they don't like, because it is another, like, this is the only person left to us kind of thing. And just like, you know, grudgingly going along with his stuff. Like, I think that's a fun direction for the time being. So I'm into it.
And you know what I'd really like to see if they are going to go on being heels for a while? I'd love to see some stuff where they're like wanting to solve something the way they would if they were EVPs, like, oh, we'll just steal Tony's car to buy a limo or whatever. And they can't do that. And then they have to be like, oh, fuck, we have to remember how we used to do bad stuff. Like, we had to think a lot harder about it. And to see them, like, being like, okay, we'll come up with a really good plan. And there'll be something you could do this at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're grinding out bicep curls or muscling the couch across the living room, crushing morning miles, or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Smoothie King has fuel to help you maximize your workouts, own your recovery, and elevate your game. Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs with a lineup of delicious smoothies made to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
Okay. Kenny and Okada were the second to last on the All-In card. Okada had a pretty normal entrance. Kenny entrance. What did you see?
So my friend Ray, who I mentioned earlier in the show, is a video game person, and he knew the guy who was singing Kenny's theme. Like, he messaged me and he was like, that guy does like a ton of Final Fantasy,
the Final
like,
Fantasy
stuff.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like,
crazy.
that's crazy that they got him in person, and he was like very impressed. And I was like, I didn't realize that
he
was
was
cool.
in person.
I didn't quite realize it was
Didn't
cool.
really notice that.
There was a lot happening during Kenny's entrance that we couldn't quite tell, because like the monks /
monks.
production crews, and then the Omega symbol, which we couldn't figure out what it was for a little, like an embarrassingly
because
long time.
half of it lit up right, but the other half, like a whole portion, didn't light up. I just wouldn't stop saying, Kenny is furious.
I know.
Kenny
Which
is
it
gonna
was
be
like
so angry.
It was so funny to think about Kenny, like the Omega didn't light up, but I also did feel kind of stressed about it. Like, oh, Dad's
I know.
Even
I
though it's
really
like, have I ever seen Kenny mad? No.
For some reason, that one story about him being mad about the pyro in the Mox match had made such an impression on me, and ever since I've been like, and Kenny can get really angry for real, and like
I was like, come on, Omega sign, like get that other. Kenny needs this.
It's not that he'd yell at you, but like you'd know how disappointed he was. So I was rooting for it, but didn't quite get there. He came down to the ring. He seemed in good spirits.
Looked super cool on TV when I watched it.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, it looked cool in person, too. That was one thing. When you have a flaming Omega sign, it does show up for the back row. So that's
but
nice.
I was so distracted by the monk situation. And I was a little disappointed because I was like, those are his acolytes. And I bet they're going to do something fun with him like the assassins did with Ospreay. And then they weren't. I think they maybe were just the tech crew. I really don't know. But they didn't do any like monk stuff around him. And I felt really let down by that.
Yeah. I will say about one fun thing about being there in person is that you see the tech crew like have to run out and grab someone's robe and like scuttle off with it, which is just it's just fun.
I did like when at one point Melissa was like, they're like taking a tarp off the ring, or like sometimes they put a tarp on. I was like, no, yeah, I think sometimes they layer up the tarps because if one gets really like sloppy gross, then they'll take it off. And her face was like, I wish you hadn't said some of the things you just said to me. If it gets like really wet and nasty, they'll take, if it's like fluided out, you know, they'll take it off. Okay, so then we get this this Okada-Omega match. Ibushi was ringside. We did get some interference throughout. There was some Don Callis interference. Ibushi was fighting off was there someone else?
Rocky.
Oh, Rocky.
Rocky was there, and you were there.
And you were there. And then Okada ended up winning, and now the belts are combined. What do you guys think about the match?
I think we knew that they were gonna like do this. Like, I don't think it was huge because like they were saying that it's gonna be unified, but not entirely. Anyways, the fact that Okada's now walking around with 3 belts is fucking crazy.
That's not nothing's been unified.
It's not.
I don't understand. I truly don't understand what's going on. I just stopped listening at a certain point. I was like, you're not explaining this in any way that makes sense. So.
Yeah,
I don't
he's now walking.
They keep like changing the name, unifying. Like Continental started as a unified thing, like, and now it's unified again. I don't know.
I think this is about entropy, maybe. Like the universe is constantly moving towards chaos. A belt cannot remain simply a belt. It must combine and then uncombine and then recombine.
That the Connie shouldn't have a belt that gets defended throughout the year. It should have
its beautiful marble statue of Nike. We all know. Listen,
everyone knows that. Yeah,
we all know.
Obviously, Tony's trying to move towards it. You know, but
Tony's like, guys, it's a process. Okay, people wouldn't be able to handle it if I just swapped out that belt for a beautiful marble statue of Nike. So we're just doing it step by step. It's like, step faster, buddy.
I love that Tony's first step is like, okay, so I'm going to take away the belt for the Connie. And it's like, okay, so step 1, I give 3 belts. There's 3 belts for it now. But
belt math with Tony.
It's called long-term storytelling. And when you see the payoff, I think it's going to all be worth it.
It's all going to happen. But I like this match. I think that we benefited because we were so disappointed by the build. Yeah. We went in there with expectations on the fucking floor. So then they gave a perfectly pleasant match. We had a very nice time, and it ended, and we said, that was great.
I think for me, it's like my expectations were low because the build was so bad. But everyone had been talking, like people who were really into the Okada-Omega original matches were like, no, you don't understand. Like, it's going to be a great match. And I was like, I'm sure it's going to be a great match. So I was I wasn't excited for this match because of the build, but I was a little bit like, I bet in the moment that I'm going to have the experience that I often have with like a Danielson match where I'm not that excited going in, but then the match really grabs me and it's like the most exciting thing I've ever seen. And it didn't really do that. You know, it was like, oh, this was good. Like Okada looks a little more awake than usual, you know? So
it was a little bit of like, I know you can be overwhelmed. I know you can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed?
Yeah.
I think maybe in Texas. Yeah. That's how I felt about it. I was like, this was perfectly satisfying.
Yeah. Right.
Like it wasn't bad. It was better than, I mean, I've never really seen an Okada match that really did it for me.
Yeah.
It's true.
Right.
He's
In
he's the
AEW.
Whelm King for us.
Yeah. Right. I'm not complaining about him, but he's certainly never gotten me to my feet, but I had a perfectly good time, I guess.
Yeah.
I will say I am very done with Kenny's tummy. It's like, Kenny, I get it. It hurts. Like, we've had enough.
Toughen up, Tommy. I tried to say. Toughen up, tummy boy.
Oh, you little soft tummy boy.
We're writing Kenny anonymous notes. We're like, Kenny, if you sell this tummy anymore, you're in danger of being called a pajama boy. Is that what you want? You're going to be called one of Obama's pajama boys. I agree. I think I wouldn't mind it if it were going along with anything. You know, if like Kenny were doing something else.
Right.
I liked that Ibushi was there, and Ibushi was in the Gauntlet, which God even knows if we'll get to at this rate, but like, so he's like doing that kind of, but it's like, that's just like my functional boyfriend came back. You know, he's like, we have a really functional relationship, and he's back now, and it's like, oh, maybe a little more drama. I don't know, a little something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you know, it was fine. And then Okada was on Dynamite this week, and he fought some guy we don't know. And afterwards, Don Callis joined him in the ring and was like, he has something to say. And Okada was like, you screwed, I got on the mic, goes, Swerve, you screwed my friends, the Young Bucks. Maybe so.
Show me the footage.
Wait, let's roll the tape back.
Yeah. Do you want to play a romantic song?
Swerve came out. He had this super sparkly suit that he had worn
Looks so
to All In. It looked amazing.
Oh my God.
It really
incredible.
I feel like between this suit and everything that Mercedes has been doing, like for me, like glitter is having a moment. Like I'm just like all the facets of these beautiful cubic zirconia sparkle. And Swerve came into the ring and he got on the mic and he said, I did do that. What you gonna do about it, bitch? And Okada, this is funny because I don't really remember this like from the show because I was a little, toasty. Don Callis prevented fisticuffs from ensuing. It's like, what do you mean? Why should Don Callis be able to have any impact? Like, if Okada wants to do fisticuffs, I don't think Don Callis should be able to do jack about it.
Well, it is very funny that the Young Bucks were stridently like, Okada is not in the Don Callis family. He's just working with them temporarily. And then every time I see them together, Don Callis is like, look at my beautiful new son. I love to, let me hold him in my arms. He's my son and I love him.
Yeah, it's like he's a flight risk.
Oh,
He could take that. He could take that man and run. Young Bucks, pay attention. They're like, we have our money issues, so we can't really keep both eyes on that at this time.
They're going to be in the Don Callis family too. And
I know we're off the Young Bucks, but I am obsessed with the fact that they lost EVP status and immediately it's like they're broke. They have no money. Yeah. They're poor now.
It's like the vibe is a little bit that like, if it had taken another week, like the cost of that limo would have gone through or whatever.
Yeah.
But they got fired before it did, so they're getting charged now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
that isn't going on the corporate card. There was a party in accounting. They were like, that doesn't count anymore.
like no reimbursements cut off, and that's like I maxed out the credit card.
So they're in dire straits. Who knows what they'll have to do for cash? All right. Any thoughts on Swerve Okada before we move on?
I'm into it. I think if there's anybody that's going to get Swerve to do interesting things, it's good. I mean, I said that backwards. Anyone who's going to get Okada to do interesting things, it's going to be a Swerve. So I'm into it.
Yeah, I felt very like, here's like a top guy Swerve hasn't done stuff with. Like, Swerve is good at storytelling. Okada's phoning it in. Like, that could work. And if Ospreay's out for like a month with his fake injury or whatever, it's like,
and now that Kenny's dead,
And now that Kenny's dead, like, let them fight. And then when Ospreay comes back, like, let's do a little tag run with Ospreay and Swerve. And I'm very happy with it.
I'd love a little tag run with Ospreay and Swerve. I'm very into I want a little Kenny Ibushi in the the tag division. That seems like a good place. They hugged on the side. And we couldn't see it because they were still running their graphics on the screens, and I was like, that fucking sucks. Then when I watched it back, I was like, guys, that was a weird hug too. Just put go to James and get some tips.
Go talk to James. Yeah,
come on. All right. Okay. So the women's gauntlet, the poor women's gauntlet had to follow the tag team match, which I do think was rough for them, but also was very rough for me because I have a lot of crowd anxiety if I'm like, are you guys responding to this? And I was a little mad because sometimes people start a lot of chants in a lot of the matches. And I'm like, if you're a chant starter, you're a chant starter. And I kind of think you have to lock in and do it for every match. And so I kept looking around like, sorry, where have all our chant starters gone? I do the chants. I don't start them. Could somebody please, Garçon, a chant, please?
And it's easier for men to start the chants, unfortunately, because of the voice deepness. So, and they really let us down here. Although, just speaking of men, it was a delight, this is total aside, to whenever you go to the bathroom, there's a line way out the door of the men's room. You could walk right into the women's room. And lots of empty stalls.
And every woman that I was next to washing my hands, the two of us would just look at each other and just smile smugly. Every woman in that bathroom felt good in the same moment. And we were just like, this is what winning feels like.
It's so clean and easy in here.
Actually, your sister-in-law, Allie, when she and I went to go to the bathroom early on, and she went, oh, good, the bathrooms are close to our sections. Hopefully there won't be a line. And I said, oh, honey, at the wrestling show, we don't wait in line. We're actually VIP.
We're VIP at the wrestling show.
You just walk through. Don't worry about it.
Although I will say, looking at the crowd, when we went to All Out 4 years ago, there were almost no unaccompanied women, and I feel like there were more this time, which was very exciting.
There was a lot more unaccompanied women.
Yeah. You love to see it. And you know what? It's like that I think perhaps I would like to think that the female viewership, the unaccompanied female viewership has grown, but also they came out for Hangman. You know, it's like women show up for Hangman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but the women's gauntlet I thought was great and had a lot of fun people in it. Were any of these returns? Some of these were debuts. Shuri, is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shuri.
Debut. I thought she was really fun.
Is she ours now, or was she just visiting?
I feel like everyone's been talking like she goes here maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and Alex Windsor debuted.
Yeah. She was
fun.
I didn't hear it. But did you see? I think was it one of the ONR guys said that her theme music is just her saying her name?
Alex Windsor.
I didn't hear that either. That's so funny.
I did. Well, I always get discombobulated when the theme music starts because my brain is so bad at identifying sound. So it's like falling over itself. Like, do I know it? And I'm like barely hearing it. I'm so concerned about whether I know it. And
plus
I never know
the sound in the stadium gets like a little echoey. Like there were things that sounded a little weird. So
yeah. But this was fun. We got Willow got such a huge pop. Yeah. And we got some like Chris Willow stuff in there. Mina got a huge pop, and she was so busy running to the ring, she didn't even have time to do her dance. Which I was like, you're locked in. You're locked in, sister.
Yeah, and I was obsessed with, I think Willow tweeted the video of the small child who was so excited for Willow to come out in the gauntlet and then cried when she lost. And I was like, oh my God, I remember being that small and caring about things that strongly. No, I loved it.
I know. And to see a little girl like so invested in Willow Nightingale, it just like feels so good. It's like really sweet. Incredible.
Like, you should like Willow. That's appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had so many moments at this pay-per-view just with the women's division where it was like, oh, and I've watched you like come this whole way. You know, it's like Willow getting pops, like Chris, and then like, of course, like the triple main event, just feeling like, wow, these guys have become like huge stars. And it's really great.
Yeah. And my sister-in-law loved Willow. She was like, her whole vibe was so good. And I was like,
Willow's such an immediate, like, this is the perfect human kind of moment.
Yeah.
And, like, just the fact that her Titatron says nothing matters, smile anyways, is just, like, such an instant, like, oh, you know what she's about, and it fucking rules. Yeah. She tweeted a link to her, like, a GIF from her first Dark debut, which was not that long ago. Yeah. And I was like, I've listened, I think she was on Talk is Jericho, and she was talking about that, where she was like, I was trying to be so polite because when you're an extra, like, you're like, you want to be invited back. So everything you do, you're like, it's like the ultimate teacher's pet moment where you're like, oh, what is the thing that I can do that's going to make me be like, oh, she was a pleasure to have in class. And I'm just like, succeeded at that beyond your wildest
I
dreams.
know, and also like she's just like me for real.
Yeah, right.
But yeah,
It's crazy. But her and Toni Storm both, it's just like, wow, started from the bottom, you know? Like,
Yeah.
It's incredible. And
I mean,
because they're
Tony's-
doing such a good job, and to get over with all these men, it's just like, great work, guys.
Tony's a funnier thing because she went negative before she went positive, whereas like Willow, I think like she went from
Willow's more
zero.
straight.
She went from 0 to positive. Toni went into the red and then came back out of it.
For
It's
sure.
funny to see the different routes you can take to get to like a real winning formula. I had a funny moment during this. This like isn't even that interesting, but I was like, wow, it's funny to be me right now. Where Ty came out and the guys behind me they were like occasionally exchanging facts, many of which I were like, I was kind of like, oh, that's not how I'd put it. But when she came out, one of them to the other was like, oh, that's Ty. We haven't seen her in like 3 years because she was out having a baby. And I was like, oh, I want to turn around and I want to mansplain something to you. But then I didn't. I actually politely kept it to myself. I said, they can say anything they want to each other.
So much restraint. Also, can I say, it was having you behind me explaining stuff to your brother and sister-in-law the whole time was such a pleasure, because everything you said, I was like, wow, and I knew that.
That was my reaction too. Every time you turned and you were like, and this, and I'd be like, I didn't need her to tell me that. I actually knew that. Isn't that amazing? I knew that.
They're so proud of
no big deal. No big deal, but I knew that.
Anne and Leah like smirking at each other in front of me, being like, we actually knew that.
Yeah. We're like fellow kindergartners being like, wow, and we all know our letters. Like, you know those letters, and so do I, actually.
Those little preschool babies don't even know how to spell.
They don't even know it.
Well, it was fun it was like fun kind of to figure out as I was explaining things, like, how am I describing this to someone who has like no context?
And knowing how much we hate to be explained to in certain ways, like, not that we hate to be explained to, we hate to be over explained to.
Yeah.
So when you go to do it to somebody else, you're like, what's the right amount of information so I don't drown them, you know?
Right. Like to think like, what's the thing they really need to know about this person? And I did feel like I exercised restraint at various points and was like, oh, we can't get into all that, but what you need to know is X.
That's why when we started this Zoom call, I said, what kind of grade did we get from your brother and sister-in-law?
Oh, they had a wonderful time. She was like, have you debriefed?
You hadn't called and gotten a debrief.
No, I haven't gotten that debrief yet, but
I really need that. I really need to hear how we did.
Okay, I'll get him to fill out a report card. No problem. Easy.
Yeah, a little comment card.
Yeah, a little comment card.
That would be great.
Yeah. Okay, so then Toni Mercedes. Oh no, so Athena wins the women's gauntlet, which is so exciting.
So exciting.
And she has this like world title shot. We don't know at this point how they work. And what did you guys think at this point about, did it impact what you were thinking about Toni Mercedes at all?
I don't think it impacted anything, but I think at that point I had said to Anne, I was like, I hope she fucking milks that title shot the way Christian did. I want to see her. I want to see her in the background of every single Toni match for the next 6 months.
Yeah, sitting up there in the spotlight. I was just so psyched because like I want Athena back on TV like so badly, and she had such a good match with Mercedes like a couple months ago, and so it's just like thrilling to have her come into the world title scene too. It's like she's just fantastic. So
yeah, and then she was on the scrum, and I think said like she was like, I'm at AEW. I'm always wondering like what has been going on here, like what's been going on behind the scenes. Like this, the whole way we talk about your relationship to like being on AEW TV is so different than the way like we've talked about anybody else's. I'm just a nosy body, so I'd love to know, but I would felt reassured to have her in the scrum being like, I'll be on AEW TV. It was like, okay, cool, like regularly, right? Like that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
because I like that.
Yeah, I know. And Billy Starks showed up with her this week too, which was, I love cute little Billy Starks.
I know, she's so cute. And she was really dressed up, which was like one of my, I thought it was, she looked so like cute and like a fun, like it was like clearly like, and what would a really cute evil minion dress like? And I like that because I also like that sometimes she'll come out and be like, we had a picture of like a whole women's division for some reason, and Billy Starks was the one who was like, I kind of rolled out of bed, and I liked that very much as well. I love everything about her vibe.
So cute.
Okay, so then we get to Toni Mercedes, third to last of the night. These are our three main events, as it were. What'd you think of the entrances?
These were so fun. Like, and from the back row, you could see it. Like Mercedes, I mean, not as well as on TV, but like the car was so fun. The cheerleaders, the robe with all the names on it. Like, that's cinema, you know?
I really liked the robe. Like, I just thought it was very cool. I didn't, obviously, I knew she was wearing like a huge robe, but I didn't realize there were names on it until like the next day. But when I saw that, I was like, that's a great touch. I love that.
Yeah.
All the wrestlers she's beaten, that's very cool.
Yeah, it looked great. Very, very fun. And then Toni had a little, had like an art film. Although everyone who's been using that art film budget, get prepared to tighten your belts, okay? Because Big Boy's back. He's back
from
from the
Everest.
mountains, okay?
And that's
like,
actually his budget.
I'm surprised he didn't do an art film on top of although I guess maybe he'll break it out next week.
There's not a lot of oxygen. You know, it limits.
Not enough for art. Not enough for art. I'm like, we have no idea what he filmed on the way up. We could be seeing Everest clips for years.
And I hope to God we are.
I hope that we're seeing Everest clips, and then also that someone else who was in that group has taken some clips of him filming his Everest clip. You know, like just a picture of like, and then this is Darby Allin, this wrestler who was with us sometimes, and he kept doing these little art films.
He did a promo on top of the mountain. It was weird.
What I was thinking is that like his art film, where he was like mocks, and what I was like. But the thing is that, like, sometimes plans change, and he knows that plans could change. I wonder if he was up there, like, recording a promo on, like, any of the 5 likely people he might need to promo on. So there's, like, in his phone, there's, like, one for Mock, there's one for Swerve, there's one for, like, the Hurt Syndicate. He's just, like...
It's, like, the way that news organizations, like, pre-write obituaries.
Exactly.
Okay, that's the new funniest version, is that he did one for everybody on the roster, and that truly for the rest of his time in wrestling, anytime he's wrestling someone, he's like, I've got it right here in the archive.
Also, if he was doing it like at the summit and there's like a huge line behind him, and he's like, I'm only halfway through the roster, you guys are gonna have to cool your jets a little bit.
And then he's like, we have been leaning intergender. Should I get the women too? It's like,
I mean, just to be safe.
Oh God. Okay, so she had her art film. It was a Twilight Zone like reference, was it?
I think. I don't know. It was like something crazy.
I meant to watch that. I meant to watch on YouTube a Twilight Zone intro. I always know, sometimes I get really agitated when I'm like, oh, I can tell this is a reference, but I don't know if I know it. And I feel like some of our friends did. Well, I thought it was Twilight Zone. Anyway, she did. Then she was dressed up as like a mime, and she had her little black and white top on. It was like they both were like the looks were looking.
Yeah, and she had the lipstick curling around her mouth. She looked so cool.
Yeah, cool and crazy. And then she got in that ring, and she said, "Let's start with some hot and heavy licking, sniffing, and petting."
Yeah.
Let's get
There's
right
gonna
down
be some
to it.
Gonna be some spanking in this ring, you know.
And I think we had prepared my brother and sister-in-law on the walk over from the hotel. I think we'd gotten into this a little. Melissa had said that one, Toni, it's like she seemed like kind of like a Shakespearean Marilyn Monroe. And it was like, you get it.
That's
you
it.
get it.
Perfectly.
You get it.
That's it perfectly.
You know what's going on. I think we tried to explain, like, you know, and it's going to be pretty gay. It can be very homoerotic, homosocial, homoerotic.
Yeah.
Just put the word homo in front of it. It'll probably be that. But then still when it was happening, I was like, I guess we could have said more. I kind of thought we said what we needed to say, but I'm not sure we got there.
It's like every week she just goes like a little bit further until suddenly the things that she's saying and doing on television are just like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, my queen.
Speechless. Yeah.
I loved this match.
It was so
loved
good.
this match. I thought this was so. I would say this match, the main, and the Bucks
were
are
my top three.
Yeah,
and this
three
was
for
another
sure.
one where I didn't know where it was going to go, and so again, every single near fall almost got me because I genuinely didn't know. I was like, I love that with like. Those, like, I'm glad that we were pretty sure about Hangman because that would have been stressful otherwise. But like the other 2 matches, like the fact that I literally was like, could be happy with either outcome, but I do not know which one it's going to be was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And Toni, I mean, both of them were so over, but like Toni Storm is so over.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy, which is so satisfying.
I don't know how obvious it was on TV, but the Toni Storm versus CEO chants, the Toni Storm was way louder.
I lost it, Rich, on Rich and
I
No on
know,
Air this
yeah.
week,
I
being
love
like,
that.
and they were cheering so loud. It's like, I switched it up in there. I was like, this is racial. And it was, it's true that there were, like, everyone was so crazy for Toni, and it was like, and we're cheering for Toni because it's like, and Mercedes, like, it really is the heel. But there were moments when I was like, I wish there was something I could share right now that would make it really clear, like, good for you, sister.
Right.
Like,
boo, I support your work.
I know. But I think there were a lot of back and forth. Maybe there weren't. Oh yeah, there were. There were a lot of like Toni Storm CEO like dueling chants.
Yeah.
And,
a lot of them.
I think you could hear things really differently, different places in the
Yeah,
stadium,
for
because
sure.
there were times when I could tell like something's going on somewhere else, but I can't really hear it. But I felt like really happy. I thought they got some of the most like dual chants actually of any of the matches.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because people clearly were just like so amped up about everything they were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was awesome. And Toni ended up winning, and she still has the belt. And then she was you gotta watch her in the scrum. She
Oh my God,
was
she's
so
so
fucking
funny.
funny.
So funny. Unbelievably funny.
When she just Tony Khan, no comment.
That was so funny with the pause, and then she said like all four of her lips. It was just like, Toni, is that legal to say?
Right next to Tony Khan.
Next to Toni Khan.
Okay, so this week on Dynamite, women finally got to fight for $100,000. We've only been asking for it forever.
I know.
Thank you, though. Thank you, though. You love to see it.
Yeah, we appreciate our concerns being answered.
Thank you. Thank you so
Took
much.
some time.
Took some time.
Thank you.
Even though that there's another men's one next week, so that
Okay,
we're still
enough with the
3 to
money
1
already.
We're 3 to 1.
Which is the ratio, like on American television. It's like 3 men to 1 woman. Yeah.
Although someone
like
was it someone
It's a Seinfeld
in our
ratio.
I think it was someone in one of the places where Freaka was like they should make the monetary value of every single batch obvious. So then like in the entrance is where it says like your win-loss record, it just says like how much money
Your
you've
cash.
earned up to date. And I was like kind of
That would be
interested in that.
fun. Yeah.
What is that? That's like the Price is Right rules or something. Yeah. So Tekla won. So she has $100,000. I mean, they don't get the money, but someone said that today somewhere. They were like, I just realized they don't get the money. I was like, no. That would be fun though if they did.
It would be really cool because I'd love to see how Tekla spends that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then she seemed to be kind of aligning with Julia Hart and Sky Blue, so that seems interesting. And she had these nipple ring tassels.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with that. I'm glad someone
What
on
a
Twitter
look.
said that it was new gear because I was like, have I never noticed that she has nipple ring
That would be
gear
so-
before?
I would be
You
so
said that, and I was like,
troubled.
I can't be confident, but surely, like, it really drew the eye. I was like, surely we would have noticed that, like, right away.
We
but-
miss a lot, but that's not the kind of thing we would usually miss. You
No.
know?
Very true. Yeah.
Yeah, she looked great. And then we had more Willow Stat tension in there. Stat cost Willow the win by dragging the ref out of the ring at one point, which is really bad behavior.
Bad girl.
Bad behavior. And then there was a little Toni. Toni got a promo that Athena interrupted with this video with Billy Starks, and it was a kind of classic Toni promo, being like, "I'm gay and I have a belt, and you love me for it." And then Athena interrupted to be like, "But what if I could just cash in and get a match against you?" I think that's what she was saying, that it was a cash in and people aren't happy about that. And I have to be honest, I don't really understand the cash in thing.
No,
like,
me neither.
I don't know why it makes people madder
I don't know.
than just a title shot. It's like, I know
get
WWE hurt you, but to me it's like, of course you could do it bad, but you could do it good.
yeah,
You could do it good,
I'd
yeah.
love to see you do it good.
Yeah.
I just want them to let Athena make a whole thing out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Like,
Right.
I want her to milk it. I want her to
Milk it,
use
yeah.
it in a crazy way. Like, please. Like,
Yeah.
Athena has been a good soldier for a long time. Let her make a whole spectacle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And frankly, the Christian cash-in, which everyone was furious about for so long, ended hilarious.
It was so fucking funny.
It
What are we complaining about? It was one of the best things I've ever seen.
It all came to nothing except him looking like a little silly Billy.
Yeah.
Not to be criticizing any part of this, though, I will say I think Athena should have been there in person. And if she had travel difficulties, then I'll apologize. But if she was just backstage, I don't think she should have been. I think she should have come out.
Yeah. I don't know that it made sense to do it as a video, unless, I guess, like, well, I don't know. Don't you think they could do, like, somewhere in there? They had all those balconies. I kept saying it looks like the globe in here, just because there were balconies, really. But you know what I mean. Yeah. But it's like, could we get people in, like, neighboring balconies somehow? Is that on the table?
That'd be fun. She could just come out for, like, a 1-minute promo
balcony
on her.
promo off or something.
Yeah.
I think
it is, like, or they, like, do they not trust her to do it live or something? But I feel like she seems good.
It would have been way funnier for, like, Billy Starks to be like, Tony, and Tony looks down, and they're like, no, up here, and it turns up she's like a higher balcony. Come on.
Use
that
venue. Use that
and
great
Tony
venue.
couldn't tell that she was up instead of down. No, the sound moves strangely sometimes. Yes, I know that from when I'm trying to find my iPod case. All right, we had the men's casino gauntlet as well. Both the gauntlets, I think, big hit with your non-wrestling fans.
It moves
quick, and there's always someone new. Down. Honestly, big hit with me too, because I kept getting to give like one little fact and be like, I really accomplished something. Then we got into some of the matches where people were just there the whole time, and it was like, well, I'm out of facts. I only knew 1 or 2, really. So,
but
these played to my strengths.
What I also enjoyed about being in person is it turns out, so they start showing the countdown at 10, but wrestling fans need fully 2 seconds to process what they're seeing. So we only start counting at 8, but they start showing you at 10. That's fun.
They do.
And then they count too fast too,
they
because we're
count
excited.
Much too fast. I was actually furious at the crowd for this, where I was like, guys, the numbers are there. Just to only say a number if you're seeing the number. Okay?
Right.
It's not rocket science.
Wait until it comes up. I know. And then it was so fun. Like, counting down every time is really fun. And then it was great because, like, some people got huge pops and it was, like, very touching to me. And then, like, you were like 3, 2, 1, and then Josh Alexander came out, and everyone was like, "Oh!" Like, it was like I think Leah said, like a negative pop, which I'd never really experienced before.
Well, this match was also funny because Sarah had said to us that morning, she'd been like, "Oh, someone has like it could end up being a spoiler. Do you want to hear it?" And we were like, well, what's it about? And she was like, I don't think you'll care about it. It could be about the men's gauntlet. We were like, okay, we'll read the spoiler. She was like, Wardlow's backstage, so he might be coming out. And we were like, okay, don't care about that at all, but
correct.
Sure. Yeah. But then I did watch the entire gauntlet being like, every time we were counting down, I was like, this one could be Wardlow. And by the time you get to the end, you're like, well, if it can't be Wardlow at this point, because Wardlow is much less important than some of these other pops. And he never come out at all.
No, there was no Wardlow. But Juice and the
No.
Guns came out and got huge pops, and the Guns posted, like, I was shocked at how much I freaked out for Juice.
I terrified myself with the noise that I made about Juice. I didn't know that I had that noise in me, let alone that I could produce it with Juice Robinson.
Yeah.
Yes, I was very excited to hear that he was coming back, but when I saw him, I got scared. I got
Certainly
scared,
true.
and I needed to hold Anne's hand for a while until I felt better.
You needed mommy because
I needed mommy. I didn't feel good.
I did have a moment, and I couldn't really process what had happened. So I was like looking at him and being like, he looks different than he did, my love.
And from far away, I was like, there's a singlet. Why are we in a singlet? And then you see his face, and you're like, oh my God, what?
They took it.
What have you done?
They took it. His one beauty. They took
Now,
it.
I know people were saying this about other matches, but they massacred my son.
They massacred. Look how they massacred my boy.
They massacred my boy.
Yeah. He doesn't look like Animal from the Muppets at all. He looks like a clean-cut, nice young man.
But you know what? I will say, if he took that beard off, he may be committed to a clean-shaven look, and it's not what I prefer, but I can respect it. I will say maybe let's get less wet. Let's get a lot
let's let that
less
hair
wet.
shine. Let's let that hair have some volume.
Let's brush those curls out. Let's get the volume. Let's get it big, as we know it can be. And even if you don't do that, though, at the very least, maybe not wet.
Yeah.
And
That's
then
the least you could do.
your girls will feel safer. And they love you. They screamed so loud for you.
So
they
happy.
love you.
And there's a backstage video of
Yeah.
Juice also being like shocked and delighted at the response.
Really
And I
really
felt very
was so
moved
nice.
by the way that the Guns were so happy for him.
Yeah.
Like, of course, I'm ready. Everything in me is ready to be very moved by a Juice return. But please don't scare me. You don't go the Kyle O'Reilly route.
No,
Please.
we can't go full
Stay
normie.
weird.
Stay weird.
It's weird.
Keep Juice weird.
The other thing, the other big thing for
We could make a
about-
T-shirt that says "Keep Juice Weird," and non-wrestling fans would be intrigued. I think.
And that one's a fun because Juice is the man, but you could also put an orange on it for OC, so it could be multiple men. The other
You
big
could draw a cup of orange juice, and they could both be coming out of it.
yes, perfect. And then you're there, Ann, and they're coming out of you're the cup.
Oh, okay.
Well, like the picture.
Sure.
Okay. All right. The other big thing in this match for us was Max Caster. We had accidentally explained Max Caster to my brother and sister-in-law at some point.
Because outside they started chanting, "Let's go, Max! You're the best wrestler alive!" Because we were waiting to go in, which was incredible.
You're right. And and so we were like, oh, this is the gimmick that Max Caster is doing. He's not in the pre-show, so I don't know that we'll see him tonight. I don't know why it didn't even occur to me that he would be in the Gauntlet. I don't
No,
think.
it didn't me either.
But you did eventually to you, right? Because you eventually had the idea, I thought. You were the one who were like, remember?
Oh, I said it would be funny if he was the last person in the Gauntlet and got pinned immediately, but I still didn't, I wasn't saying it like I really thought that it would happen. Yeah.
Well, they had said, we explained it, and they were like, that's so funny. He sounds really funny. And we were like, yeah, he's incredibly funny. So then he came out. It was huge for them, for us. We're like, oh my God, Max Caster's here. They let him on the mic. He's explaining about being the best wrestler alive.
The crowd did the chant so well. Like, we're all dead on.
I just can't get over it. And then he starts messing it up on purpose, like trying to get the crowd to mess it up, and always has this look on his face like, I can't believe you guys are doing this. It's so crazy you're doing this. But then it was
Crazy.
was strange. It was straight. He came out. It was perfect. And the match ended almost immediately, but he's not the one who got pinned.
Like, why? Why? That's what
What
he's
do you
for.
mean?
I know.
Roddy got pinned. Why is Roddy the pin pig?
Roderick Strong had to be the pin pig in a match 2 minutes after Max Caster came out?
And I mean, the end of the
I'd go
Casino
cry in a
Gauntlet
toilet
being
if I were
Max
Roddy.
Caster comes out, immediately gets pinned would be such a funny
Well,
ending.
they could have done two different very funny things. They could have done the thing where he was the one who got pinned, he got pinned immediately. They also could have done the thing where he was so busy on the mic as he was talking, he missed his window and somebody got pinned as he was talking.
That would've
Either
been
one
great.
would have been hilarious. It's crazy that they didn't do either of those things.
It's
Bizarre.
so strange. Like, I just can only think of somebody like in like a real like academic intellectualized art mode being like, it defies the expectation of the viewer.
I just suddenly
you feel
thought
robbed, and that's the point of the piece. It's like, I guess I think in this case I probably would have just like ended it the way I expect you to end it the second I
I
see
know.
Max Caster.
it suddenly just occurred to me, and I'm furious. I don't know that this is true. This is pure speculation. But what if MJF said it's not prestigious enough for him to pin Max Caster?
My
He needs to
God.
pin somebody tougher. If that was the case, MJF, you are already dead to me, but now you are so much deader to me.
Let's start saying that's the case. Let's say that. Let's say that's what happened.
Yeah, I heard it.
Max
I heard
Caster-
it backstage. I have some sources. They
Max
told me
Caster
that
was
MJF
ready and willing to
demanded
pin Pig, and MJF was like, "No, I need a strong boy like
a strong
Roddy.
boy.
I need Roddy beneath me. Roddy, shoulders to the mat, buddy.
Let me get on top of you, buddy. You're the one that I want.
I'm Borden." He won by Mark Briscoe was pinning Roddy, and then MJF shoved him off, and then he got the pin, and he has the cash in. And well, I guess if they have the cash in it'll be a cash in, and it might be a cash in or might not. So I guess we saw him, but I didn't listen to it. What did he say on
No.
Dynamite? Anything?
I think it's a cash in, but
It's a cash in. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that. It's a cash in. Yeah, so.
I
Yeah.
think.
All right.
But I didn't really listen though, because that's a policy with me now.
Yeah, we don't fucking know. And then, okay, final topic of the night. Hurt People had a match that we mostly missed because we were talking to James O&R and FTR were on commentary. They had fought the Outrunners on the pre-show. And that was fine. And that's where they...
I did enjoy that FDR has been demoted to the pre-show. So
I said that's where
Yes.
that's where you should be.
It's also crazy they came out for commentary wearing matching sweatsuits, like, but like the schlubbiest, least trying. I was like, did you get those at Ocean State Job Lot? Like, I don't understand. Like, I was like, you understand that it's a stadium show. Everyone else put effort into it. Like, Hangman got like a whistler.
Yeah, they're wearing like t-shirts out of a 3-pack, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
okay. Our son Dustin is watching you in a suit right now. Okay, think about that.
Think about it.
Well, anyway, they were on commentary, and the point of the match, unclear to me. So this was Hurt People, Patriarchy, Jet Speed. Yeah. And Christian ended up getting pinned by Bobby Lashley, I think. And then FTR got in the ring, I think, to complain about having gotten kicked on commentary or something. And while they were in there, Nick Wayne turned on Christian and like knocked him out. And FTR made some really funny faces. It was really hard for me to tell, especially without commentary helping. I was like, are we supposed to, like, have they been talking to Nick Wayne? Do they have anything to do with this? But they
but their faces, they made a face like if a married couple starts fighting in front of you and you're like, I don't think I should be here for this.
Yeah, this is really awkward. Yeah.
But then I thought Cash had a face that was kind of like, kind of fun though. Yeah, for sure, keep doing it. And I was like, I don't know, like, are you guys trying to adopt, or like, what's your vibe right now? But of course, I'd forgotten. I think I remembered in the middle of this. I was like, oh, right. FTR do have a relationship too. Music hits, Cope comes out. So Nick Wayne and FTR have been trying to build this murder machine because I guess FTR were just like, fuck it, we ball. They're trying to build this murder machine to kill
so why not?
Christian. Cope runs out. He gets a bunch of pyro. He has his bat, Spike. He runs into the ring and he menaces everybody away from Christian. And then he hauls Christian up and tugs him close, and he says, "Go find yourself." And I really thought he said, "Go home, find yourself."
Yeah, it was because he paused. He's like, "Go," and there was like a weird
An
echo, and then "find yourself." Like, because I watched it back because I was like, I could have sworn he said, "Go home, find yourself," and I was like, what the hell kind of reference is that?
We were very confused.
What kind of 30-year-old wrestling callback is that I don't understand?
That one's from Magnum TA or whatever.
Right. But no, he said, "Go find yourself," instead of "go fuck yourself."
In the moment, this delighted us. We were like, that's
we were laughing.
Craziest thing that you could have said. I understand that it's a reference to "go fuck yourself," but still the funniest thing. We're on fire. We're like, what the fuck kind of 6 months do we have in our future? That's crazy.
I know, in a way it really worked, I guess. I mean, not really as intended, but like, we were certainly head up. Like, we were laughing our butts off.
Right. I think the internet was way meaner, where they were just like, I don't want to see that. And I was like, I absolutely do want to see that. Of course I want to see that.
Well, we love to be delighted by something like that, where it's like,
yeah.
It is kind of like when a student comes into you at the writing center and they've taken some of your advice, but somehow they've done it in a way that you're like, I didn't know you could do it that way, and it's really wrong. But like, yeah, I acknowledge you did what I told you to do, but somehow the result
you were going for something, and you really came out with something unexpected and bad in ways I couldn't even imagine.
And sometimes that's like your favorite. That's your favorite thing, you know. It's like we have stories that my friends who are TAs and I are still talking about to this day, that like a student took a big swing of like, they're like, and then you said I had to have some plot in there, so then my character, like, everyone on campus pushed him to start doing heroin and he got kidnapped in a van. And you're like, oh yeah, I did tell you that I didn't say there had to be some plot in there. So I guess you're right.
I think one of our skills is to really enjoy the absurd.
Yeah. This was absurd, and it doesn't make sense. Like, when you think through everything that happened here, it's like Nick Wayne. Christian has been so mean to Nick Wayne, but I thought had been laying good pipe for his mom. Like, I didn't realize she had complaints.
Really shocking. I know. Yeah, she's out here being like, being with an older man can be hard, or more often flaccid, is like basically what she's coming out with. Like, I thought she was satisfied.
I thought you loved it. I thought you loved his love. So I'm like, But Nick Wayne, I understand you're dissatisfied. Kip, your situation seemed pretty fine too, honestly. I mean, you did nothing but hound that man, stealing his pens, but then he adopted you, and he seems to have been feeding you a diet of good kibble for the past 6 months. So I don't know why you're so mad about.
You great clothes. Kip looked amazing this whole week.
During the turn, we also got really confused. I don't know what Kip was doing. I think he left the ring at one point. We were like, oh,
and then he came right back in.
We were like, Kip is not turning on Christian. And then he went back and we were like, no, he is.
No, he is. But so, like, you just think about the setup. You're like, okay, but Nick Wayne, you're mad. So you're killing your dad. Your dad is bad. And it's probably good that he get killed. But somehow you are acting evil about it. Like, I would just be like, you hurt my feelings, Dad. I don't want to be here. I'm not a part of your system.
I
don't like hearing about you having sex with my mom.
It's so funny for Christian to be
in the bedroom.
It's so funny.
I don't want my paws on the bed. That's Will Ospreay's thing.
It's so funny for Christian to be the absolute most stereotypical, like, abusive stepdad, and for Nick Wayne to somehow be the heel for turning on him. Like, how did this happen?
It does not make sense. And then Christian comes out this week on Cope comes out this week on Dynamite, and cuts this in-ring promo where he's like, yeah, you guys are all like, oh, why did you go save Christian? Well, I did it. I went out there because I'm so mad at FTR because they were so mean to me, if you'll recall. And so I want to kill them, and that's why I went out to the ring. And it's like, footage not found. Footage not found.
Like, after Cope and Mox had their terrible pay-per-view match and then they had to run it back the next week to try to, like, correct it, I was like, why am I always seeing Adam Copeland come out here and be like, okay, so just to be clear, what I did was good, okay? And here's the long explanation of why.
He's got it. It's like the kind of thing where it's like, just commit to it. Like, I think it would be better, like, you could have some kind of explanation that's just like, I can't make it make sense. Like, but like, I've known that man since I was a baby, and when sometimes you see something and you just act, and it's not that he deserves it, but it's that he doesn't, it's that the other people in the ring, like, don't deserve, like, what they don't deserve the satisfaction, and then you bring FTR in that way. It's like, I don't know. There just was something off about it.
Yeah.
It just felt very over-explained. And it's like, in a lot of things in wrestling, like, someone runs out and you're like, why? And then you're like, oh, I guess it was the FTR thing, and it's like, you just leave it be. But this just felt very, like, self-indulgent in a weird way. Plus, he did a lot of, like, running around getting cheers and being like, thank you so much to the fans, when Hangman had already done that earlier and more sincerely. So it's just like, buddy.
It basically just sapped, like, all of, like, during All In, I was like, oh, this is going to be crazy bad, which is if it can't be good, crazy bad is my favorite.
Yeah, that's second best.
And so, but something about the Dynamite promo sucked the crazy out of it. So then it was just like, oh, it's just bad. That's less fun.
I know, and I was like psyched for Cope and Christian to have like a little romantic, like, comedy of remarriage storyline. And it's like, but Christian's the good one and Cope's the boring one. So like, getting 15 minutes of Cope talking was just like, this isn't sexy.
I don't really want FTR to be involved. Like, why FTR shouldn't be involved?
Well, there's no way around that. We all know that FTR are going to continue to be involved. So.
But it was just like, well, they can go beyond Collision, all of them, and do this normal bad
I did like the moment in our watch when you guys both just deflated and just said, it was like the exhausted Emperor being like, oh, just take them to the lion pit, I guess.
Yeah. I can't be watching this.
Just clear the ring, I'm afraid.
Though I was kind of like, well, we always have to hear someone talk insufferably at 9 p.m. And I guess Cope was a little bit better than MJF and the Hurt Syndicate. So, but I'd prefer if we just didn't do that.
Yeah. Well, you won't be fishing that wish. But I don't know. We'll see. I will say that my heart is much more open than many people's, I think, to a Cope Christian run where, it's like, I don't think that we should be getting 15 minutes in the middle. I don't think we should be getting that much ring time. But, like, you're old men who want to pretend to be young dogs one more time. I've learned my lesson from the Rock and Roll Express. Yeah, get in there. Why not? Yeah, have a retirement match, get murdered, put your shoulders to the mat. Put your shoulders to the mat.
Yeah. Very important.
And James Owenar made a good point, which is that if Cope and Christian enter the tag team division, Tony's going to be forced to pay some attention to the tag team division. So maybe it will be good.
And that would be great.
If you're looking at a tag team division with like Cope and Christian, the Bucks, Swerve and Ospreay, like that, we got a stew going.
We got a stew going. A little Kenny Ibushi, even a little Jet Speed if we can rehab them after, they really didn't play much of a role in this match. But we got a lot to cook with here. So I guess we'll see. So my heart's open to it, but let's just think and maybe come by the writing center, and we'll spitball some ideas.
And you can either go find yourself direction, or you can make it good, but don't do this middle thing.
Let's
good.
Let's go
or
extreme.
Crazy bad. Yeah, good or crazy bad is fine, acceptable. Plain bad is nothing.
Either we want a home run or we want you to accidentally hit yourself in the face with the bat. Okay, those are your two options.
This out at first stuff is nothing.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah.
Was there anything you wanted to talk about that you didn't get a chance to talk about in this our longest episode ever?
Should we go 3 hours?
Should we go 3 fucking hours?
What are we at right now? Oh my god!
Well, it is
2 hours and 11 minutes.
It is crazy to realize. Some of these topics, we really barely touched on it. But
I know.
There
was so much content for this week, and I
guess we did it to ourselves, but
yeah, it's I guess we should have done a post all in episode, but we were really not in any shape to do so.
We couldn't do that because the things that happened to us at that airport. Now that we're through the episode, so we can say anything we want. It's you can leave now, So
you can leave now,
Leah, explain what happened to you at DFW.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I would say that I ended up better off than you because yours was bad also, but Sarah and I boarded our flight at the normal time, sat down, and then proceeded to sit on the runway for almost 3 hours.
I was so long on the runway.
I was sue them
unhappy.
for kidnapping.
Yeah, I was
time on the runway.
So
you
unhappy.
I would be Liz Lemon in that episode of 30 Rock, you know?
Yeah,
totally.
I was deeply unhappy, but you also had troubles.
Yeah, what are all the things that happened? So it's we got to the airport. I was early because my flight wasn't supposed to leave for 2 hours after you guys or something. So, but I went to the airport with you because it's just hang out at the airport. It's already delayed. It's it's not a good sign. It's getting incrementally more delayed, and then suddenly they just move the gate to another terminal, which at DFW is okay, we're really moving. So it's go to the other gate. I'm supposed to be boarding this flight, or I'm supposed to have boarded it an hour ago at this point. I'm at this gate that's now crowded with people who are when are we getting on this plane? And the guy gets on the loudspeaker and he's okay, hi everyone. We have this flight to Minneapolis, and we're just about ready to board. We're just missing one flight attendant and the first officer and the pilot. And it was
just little things.
So we're not remotely ready to board because you don't have either of the people who would be flying the plane. So that's so interesting. He's but we'll really be boarding any second. So then it's another hour waiting out there. Then the flight attendant showed up, so we boarded, and then we waited in there for an hour and a half, hour and a half or something. At one point, the pilot came on. He's hi guys, pilot here. So we have a pilot. So things are looking really good. I was we're not really looking that good after everything that's happened. And he goes, so I'm just waiting for our first officer, but I'm just trying to get everything ready. So, when he gets here, we can just get going. And what I'd say is start hoping when we're in the air.
Wow, that's honest.
I think I did IRL to my seatmate. I was what do you mean? Start hoping when we're in the air.
That's crazy. I think I was the only person leaving All In whose flight just went normal, and I wasn't delayed at all. I think I landed before you guys took off.
That's crazy because I did check on you at one point, and I thought it said delayed awaiting takeoff, but I might have, because I was I was in that place where I was if I'm experiencing misery, everybody must. And I thought I checked on both of you, and both of you looked like you were, and I was thank God.
I mean, it's possible that it was delayed 10 minutes because I just had a podcast in and I wasn't listening to
and
anything they were saying.
I
but
felt
it wasn't
really relaxed. And...
I was really zoned out. The brain was off, so who knows? But
I felt actually it was kind of, it was kind of a nice moment for me because I was you know what, I feel pretty chill, all things considered. I was I've worked really hard to kind of like not get stressed out about travel stuff. And I feel like it's paying off right now. Like what's happening is crazy, but I'm laughing. I am laughing.
So important to laugh.
So important to laugh.
It's our main priority. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we all made it home.
We all made
that
it
day.
home.
So that's something.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It was a really great experience. I'm glad we did it.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so worthwhile. I felt so good. I mean, it was like the show was great. Everyone we met was great. All our activity. We just had so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I forgot I was going to say that at the top of the show. And now not everyone who'd turn it off has already turned it off.
Yeah.
My coworkers are the nosiest motherfuckers
Yes.
in the fucking world. And there's no chance in the world that my coworkers ever accept I'm on vacation as the amount of detail. They want to know, what am I doing? Where am I seeing? And at some point I gave in and I was just like, I'm going to tell them that I'm in wrestling. So they know it. But this time I was like, oh, I'm off Friday and Monday because I'm going to Texas for a wrestling thing. And one of my coworkers goes, that's still happening to you? Yeah, it is.
We're all confused.
We're all confused.
We say that to ourselves every day.
And then another one of my coworkers who's queer, and we've bonded about queer stuff before, goes, oh, Dallas, they have a really great queer neighborhood. And he starts telling me about this neighborhood and tells me about this restaurant he loves and then his other bar. And then he stops and he goes, well, it sounds like you're kind of having a really straight weekend, though, so that might not be the vibe. Okay. Hurtful?
So insulting.
Hurtful?
So hurtful. It's such a burn to say to someone,
It's
oh,
like,
you're having a very straight
no,
weekend. Like,
yeah.
okay, roasted to a crisp.
Not the way we do it. No.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to be so gay. Tell them about Toni Storm.
Oh, unbelievable. And then today I was talking to somebody and somebody who hadn't been there last week, and she was like, oh, what happened? So I told her all about it, and she was like, oh, wrestling. So was anyone famous there? And I went, well, famous for wrestlers. And she was like, what does that mean? Who is the most famous person that was there? And I had to stop. And
Wow.
I don't know
That's
what
a good
name.
question.
It's a good question, right? So like if you had to think
Yeah.
of a person who would be like their name would have any kind of name recognition. So I went with Edge because I was like, maybe
Okay.
that'll happen.
That's
So I
not
was like,
bad,
have you
yeah.
ever heard of Edge? And she went, no. And I
Yeah.
went,
It's like I would have tried like Brian Danielson, but they definitely wouldn't know that one either.
No.
Honestly, like the Costco guys. Is probably
Yeah.
the best
You're
one.
probably
right.
should have said the
That
Costco
was
guy.
right. That was
Probably.
right. Have you ever heard of the little Rizzler?
Costco's guy. The little Rizzler was there. I saw him.
it was
His
just
little boots.
It's just so funny to be constantly getting burned to shit by my coworkers.
Yours have been the funniest, but I think it's impossible to like have a coworker interaction about wrestling that doesn't end with you being like, God, this is rough for me. Because I like my coworker had asked me last week, like, what are you doing this weekend? And so I like was like, well, I'm actually going to Dallas. And she was like, oh, what for? And it was like, for a wrestling show. And her vibe was like, what do you mean? What does that mean? It was
It's like I've just learned things about you that are really outside of the scope of what I was prepared for.
I know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like, well, don't worry about it right now. But then we had a meeting on Tuesday or something. And she was like, so how was Dallas? And I was like, it was good. And she was like, and you were at the wrestling show. And I was like, yeah, it was good. It was a long, long day at the wrestling show. She was like, and you really like wrestling. Like, not like she was just trying to like make sure
Just
there wasn't
confirm.
a trick in there somewhere. She was like, and to be super clear, you are a fan of
You went
wrestling.
you traveled to the wrestling show
On
for the
purpose.
wrestling.
It was, and you just
because
have
you
to
like
sit there and be like,
it?
yeah. And you're just being like, it's a broad art form, but very deep in some ways.
It can be sublime in its way. Yeah. Well, and I had this work trip, and after, like, especially, like, Leah's experience, I was like, oh, God, like, what if they asked me what I was doing this weekend, and then I'll have to be like, I was in Texas, and then if they have follow-up questions, and then it's like, I'm going to have to say I have a podcast, or I'm meeting the podcast network, like, it's just, like, a whole can of worms where you're like, I can't get into all this, and then everyone was so mad that we had to travel to be at this high school all week that no one said a word to me about my weekend. They were just like,
Oh, look, she got off
yeah, we're
scot-free.
here.
God, I wish that
Perfect
was
plane
me.
ride, got off scot-free this day.
I know, it's fucking bullshit. My nosy ass coworkers are straight up like, on the regular, on Monday, they'll be like, how was your weekend? And I'll be like, good. And they're like, not enough. Tell me. I'm going to need more
Write it
detail on
down.
that.
Give me the itinerary. Every everything you did.
Start with Friday night.
Yeah, exactly.
Go
If
hour by hour.
If I'm just like, oh, no, I just hung around, watched TV, they're like, what TV?
God.
What'd you watch?
I feel like I would have
Can't live like that.
I would just be like drawing up. Even if I'd done totally unobjectionable things, I'd be like, they can't know. I would have told them so many lies about my life by now. I just couldn't handle the pressure of it. Like it would be like they can't anything. It's not safe. Well, even though we had to tell our coworkers, some of us had to tell our coworkers about it, and that was demoralizing. And despite the things that happened to us at the DFW airport, hell on earth, I am so glad that we went.
I'm so glad we went.
I'm so glad
I'm
we
so
all
grateful
went.
for our community, you know?
Yeah.
I'm so
You guys,
grateful.
the
I'm grateful for our
network.
network. I'm grateful for the people that made a point of saying hi to us. It was so nice. It was really meaningful. I've been floating on it all week, just thinking about how kind some of the things you guys said to us was. It was really meaningful. It was really important. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
We're idiots. We're absolute idiots.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we think that we're just popping ourselves, like each other.
Yeah.
But
And
we're
so,
actually popping all of you.
It is crazy. It's like you hop on here and I just have a conversation with my friends and forget everything I said, and then it's like, wow, and people are listening to that. That's nuts.
It really was meaningful. So thank you, everybody.
It was really, really nice. And I have
Yeah.
to say, girls, there was a moment in there where it's like, I don't know what was happening, but someone near us, like that we knew, I mean, like Sarah or something, was like, oh, the Tunnel Talk girls are over there. I had this really funny moment where I was like, that's us. We three are the Tunnel Talk girls, and that's who we are. And
In
we're
our
all
matching
here together.
shirts. I know. It was nice.
And so thank you guys for doing this podcast with me and laughing every week. And thank you to Toni for all in, and thank you to the listeners for listening and having fun with us.
Yeah.
And God.
And thank you, Matt Jackson, for your body.
Oh, thank you for your body, and thank you for your halter
always.
top. And if you want any ideas for other types of shirt to get into, just call us. You know, we're here day or night. Emergency fashion line. Okay, and we have lots of ideas. So.
Get those sparkles on there.
And I know you're on a budget, but you know I go to Goodwill all the time, so I have
Yeah,
the
keep your
tips.
eyes peeled. You can just start mailing clothes to Matt Jackson along with his mommy's little ham awards.
I'm worried that literally I'm like, God, that would be great if like I could go to Goodwill and just be like keeping my eyes out for shit for Matt Jackson. And on that note, I've been Allie.
I've been Ann.
And I've been Leah.
This is Tunnel Talk. Our theme is by Chris Corkin. You can find us on Twitter, Tumblr, Twitch, and Blue Sky at Tunnel Talk Pod via email, tunneltalkpod@gmail.com. We have a souvenir stand where you will soon at some point be able to get hot dog shirts. But right now you can get very cool gas station shirts. So check it out. It's at chop-tees.com. You can find us on our feed. You can find us on the Social Suplex Network feed. We always encourage you to go check out all the other great podcasts on the network, but especially when we just had such a lovely weekend with all these hosts. Please go listen to your Trish and Sarah's, your One Nation Radios, your Keeping It Strong styles, your All Things Elites, we also have IMS WWE Adventure and art wrestling art with Chris Things and Sir Sam's Match Guide. That's all of them, right?
You
I think I
fucking
did.
killed
I think
it.
so, yeah.
You
You
fucking
nailed it.
killed it.
Yeah, go check out all our compatriots' wonderful podcasts. We're really very grateful to be on this network with you guys. And please, you can join us on the Social Suplex Network Discord. Please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. Stay frosty, and as always, please come back next week.
Así como existe gente que crea sin parar, existe la imparable camioneta Ford Maverick que no deja de ganar. Top pick de Consumer Reports como la mejor camioneta pequeña y camioneta compacta número 1 según Motor Trend. Pero la camioneta Ford Maverick no está aquí para presumir. Está diseñada para quienes prefieren crear con sus propias manos y para los que necesitan una camioneta que los ayude a concretar ideas. Así que eso que estás pensando hacer, llévalo, cárgalo, hazlo con Maverick.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're crushing morning miles or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.